Well, let me tell you something here, my friends. Um, Let me tell you something here. Make no mistake about it. Rent's due today. Rent is due today. National football season started last night. I can't tell you what a great football game that was. I'm expecting another one here tonight. And welcome aboard. I really appreciate it on this Football Friday. Isn't it great to say Football Friday? And it's a pregame to the Eagles and Packers tonight in Brazil. I'm going to give you what I think happens tonight. My predictions, a little bit of what happened last night. By the way, once again, we are powered by our friends at BetUS. Thank you guys so much. The entire 4 hours is with our partners at BetUS. We thank you. Make sure you guys go online. Make sure you guys make them your new house for this upcoming football season. We appreciate that. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. We will have Philly Godfather totally fits because we'll be previewing the games this weekend, NFL and college, number one and number two sports in this country. We are going to talk a little bit about last night and what we saw with the Ravens and the Chiefs. And once again, preview some of the games this weekend, and we will preview, obviously, Packers and Eagles. Hit the like button, guys. We are off and running. I was excited about that game last night. I thought that was one of the absolutely awesome football games to open up a season. And tell me this. If you close your eyes, Xander, everyone, I don't know if you see what I see when I close my eyes and I see Xavier Worthy. Close your eyes for a minute and then open them. Do you not see Deshaun Jackson? Did you not see Deshaun Jackson last night? 20-yard run touchdown, 30-yard plus catch for a TD, speed. Close your eyes again. How come I look at that guy and I see Deshaun Jackson? I'm like, there were a lot of conversation coming out of the draft with that kid from Texas. What would he be? It looks like Deshaun Jackson or the beginning. I don't want to go nuts with that, okay? But it just looked like Deshaun Jackson to me. Isn't it crazy how they've developed so many great wide receivers under Andy Reid? Guys who probably would never have been developed any other place. Andy Reid develops them. I mean, Tyreek Hill. I don't even remember Tyreek Hill in college. I don't remember even what college he went to. Christopher, thank you, my friend. That is awesome. Not even a comment, and I can't tell you how we appreciate all super chats. Man, what an absolutely great football game last night. I'm going to make a comment to you about the game first before we start previewing a little bit of Eagles and Packers. The Ravens would have beat any team last night in the NFL last night. But the one thing you can't do, you can't have Watson, you can't have Lamar Jackson throwing the ball against Kansas City 78 times in 2 games. You want to hear a stat about the Chiefs versus the Ravens? In the last 100, what is it? In the last 120 minutes of football that they've played in the AFC title game and this opener last night, Kansas City has led 80 minutes of that. It's getting the lead on the Ravens. It's getting the lead on the Ravens. Hey, one more time. I've never said Lamar Jackson was a great passer. I've always said even Jalen's a better passer than Lamar. But I don't think 273 and 122 yards of total offense is a bad night for anybody. And you're going again. Hey, and something else. That Chiefs defense is spectacular. Chris Jones might be the best defensive player in the NFL. He's a force in there. That's what you're hoping Jalen Carter looks like, because that guy was a wrecking ball last night. They had no answers for him, man. Okay? JM goes like this: 273 yards passing and 122 yards rushing is awful against the Chiefs. The Ravens would have beat any team in the league last night, but they're not going to beat the Chiefs making mistakes in the passing game. Lamar Jackson can't beat you passing the ball. Jalen Hurts can't beat you passing the ball. Those guys are dual threat guys. Another thing, Lamar Jackson is not going to be able to last the entire season taking hits like he did last night. That's not going to happen. He can't continue to take those hits. Hey, and for the record, everyone was talking about the game was determined by this much. Let's be candid here. This much was just to tie them and try to get it into overtime. That shows you the distance. Mahomes in the offense wasn't great last night. He wasn't great. But you got to be great to beat him. Get this. He doesn't have to be great, Mahomes, to beat you. God forbid when he is. God forbid when he is. Rice was cooking Roquan Smith every play. Dude. How that guy even got on the football field last night, too, was insane because of the off-season issues. Sills, Lamar, Henry, pairing looked rough. It did, man. They did not use Derrick Henry enough. I thought they were just going to feed that guy. But once again, get a lead on Baltimore, and you got him. Lamar is better in the gun while Henry is better in traditional. That's right. Seven-yard deep sets. They need to get back. And again, there's no question that they didn't figure out the Rubik's Cube when it came to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson last night. That thing looked all over the place. Todd Monken needs to go back to the laboratory and figure that thing out. That defense and Steve Spagnuolo was absolutely sensational. Chiefs and the rest played well last night. Yeah, man, some of those calls against the Ravens, you were like very one-sided in that football game. But still, Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball 78 times in 2 games against Kansas City. That's not who he is. I don't know why they proceed to do that. Don't you see? You're not beating that team, and you're not going tit for tat when you have to go in a passing game against Mahomes. Nobody in the league is beating him. Okay? Get this. Who said this here? You're not wrong. Lamar is average, sometimes below average, throwing the ball. He missed wide open guys. He had a guy in the back of the end zone wide open. He is not a traditional pass. If you have a guy missing passes like that in the NFL, why would you throw the ball 41 times? You know he's not accurate. There's a 70% chance he's going to complete footballs. But there's a 30% chance he's going to throw a pick. Made no sense. It was a shitty game plan, once again, by the Ravens last night. And the inability to be able to use Derrick Henry was absolutely ridiculous. How is it that the rest fault Ravens didn't show where to line up? No, I get that. Absolutely. Xander, I missed another super chat there. Flexen, you're right. I missed a super chat after Flexen here. Eagles need draft lessons from Kansas City. God, they hit on all of them, don't they? I completely agree. Give me Saquon over Henry any day. He looks slow. Well, we'll find out, Nick, what that looks like. Hey, Nick, it's great to sit here and start barking that bullshit right now at 2 o'clock Eastern time. It's another thing to sit there and see when we watch this thing tonight play out. That, to me, was poor game planning last night. Dude, we'll find out if you can beat the Ravens. Because that's a game that the Ravens wanted. They lost the game that they needed, which was the AFC title game. They wanted that game last night. They needed the AFC title game, and they lost both. Can't throw the ball 80 times, guy. That's not going to happen. You're not beating Patrick Mahomes in a passing game. You're just not. And if you're dual threat, you got to have some type of running game for you to be able to counteract what they don't do well. You know what that is at times? Play the run. But last night, they did a sensational job playing the run because Todd Monken didn't know how to utilize Derrick Henry. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the absolute best defensive coordinators. He is the best defensive coordinator in pro football right now. There is no arguing that. Brett Veach is the best talent, college, pro, whatever you want, talent evaluator in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs are built through the draft. They're not built through free agency like the Eagles. Most of your star players, when it comes to your offensive skill set, guys, are from either free agency or trades. Spags was not supposed to call the timeout. I saw that last night. That's a job of the head coach. That was a 15-yard penalty, actually, that should have been called on Kansas City, but they didn't. I don't think the refs knew the rule. Because assistant coaches, when have you ever seen an assistant coach calling a timeout? I've never seen a guy run down the sideline like that. Andy Reid's like, what are you doing? That's communication on the sideline. And that was probably one of the only F-ups that Casey had last night. Let me just say this to you, too, about Mahomes. He's so special, it's sick. That guy is so special. And when he makes a bad play, he just doesn't give a shit. This guy's got short-term memory loss, and he just picks it up, and he carries you to the next play. He is a special player. That's one of the greatest football players I've ever seen. I mean it. If you're going to build a football team around one quarterback in pro football history, it is that guy. It is not Tom Brady. It is not Brett Favre. It is not Joe Montana. It is that guy. That guy is the LeBron James of pro football. He could go to Carolina and make him a contender. That's how good he is. That's how good he is athletic. You know why? He's a better athlete than Brady. That's insane. Get this. Do I think he's as knowledgeable as Brady reading defenses? Absolutely not. Wait till he's in his 15th year. My God, what's he going to look like then when he has a total understanding of defenses? It's going to be frightening. It's going to be frightening. Please hit the like button, guys. Lamar Jackson looks so uncomfortable on the center. I was screaming at the screen for them to use Henry. It was like he was a ghost out there. It was absolutely poor game planning last night, and they were still in it. They were still in it. They were still in that thing. Okay? Absolutely. I appreciate all the super chats, you guys. You guys are killing it right now, and I thank you. Favorite play of the game was when Mahomes almost threw an interception, and then I'll jump two defenders to prevent a turnover. You know how critical of a play that was? That was so enormous that he did that and made that play and made sure that that didn't go into the hands of the Ravens, because the Ravens would have had the ball going in. That could have been a game changer. He knows that. He is a special football player. That is the greatest player at that position, talent-wise, more so than even Aaron Rodgers. You know why the difference? He's skilled, he's talented, and he wins. That's what separates him. Rodgers is a sensational. The way he threw the ball and his interception to touchdown ratio will never be touched in pro football history. Never. 4-1, forget it. Nobody throws 500 touchdowns and has 100 picks. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. However, that guy with athleticism, coaching on what they've done, Andy Reid has created this kid. And trust me, this guy's like Terminator. As good as the Ravens are, and they're a good team, they're going to win a ton of games. They're going to win a ton of games. They're not in the league of the Chiefs, and the Chiefs didn't play well. They played great on defense. They played great on defense. Okay? Hey, JM, if you fucking think you have a 53-man roster like the Chiefs, you're high. You can't even figure out who your fucking linebackers are yet. Talking to me about your defense is trash to Kansas City's defense. Trash. There's a trash can, and then there's the Chiefs defense. You're the trash can. Until otherwise proven, you're the trash can. Okay? Trash can defense. Super Bowl winning defense. You're the trash can. Trash can. Okay? You were annihilated. You don't get the benefit of the doubt by saying, we drafted a couple guys, we brought a coordinator in, and it's all better. No, it's not. Not until you get out and play tonight. We shall see, my friend. You think that the Eagles are as good as the Chiefs, you're out of your mind. You couldn't beat that team. There's not a chance. They got better coaching, a better quarterback, a better defense, a better scheme, and a better 53-man roster. You line up nowhere. Sills, we got better wide receivers. Okay. Sills, we got a better O-line. Probably so. Most importantly, you don't have the better quarterback. You don't have the better coach. You don't have the better play caller. And you by far don't have the better defense. By far, you don't. By far. Here, the Chiefs are a 10 defense. You're a 2. 2. 2. Okay? 2. Eagles beat the Chiefs last year. And what did it get you? What did it get you? They're holding the Lombardi trophy up, and you're holding once again as an Eagle fan. You see this guy? We beat the Chiefs. You know what you're holding up again, as you always do? Some of you Eagle fans do. Ceremonial victories. Act like a champion for once. Might help you out a little bit. Might help you out. Should I do my question marks going into the 24 season tonight for the Eagles? Or should I do the preview? What do you guys want to hear? You want to hear the preview for tonight? Get this. I'm a hater? No, I'm a truth teller. You don't want to hear the truth? There's other flag-waving shows for you too. Honest to God. You can go hear what you want to hear somewhere else. Okay? You can go somewhere else. You don't. This is not a draft. Okay? Dean breakout season. Holy shit. Steels, hopefully more watched the game last night. If Baltimore used Henry correctly, they keep Mahomes on the bench. That needs to be how they use Barkley tonight. Green Bay can't score from the bench. Absolutely true. Absolutely correct. Okay? Absolutely correct. Hey, I did. Andre. Hey, Andres. That's a 15-yard penalty too, by the way. Him doing that. Okay? Guys, please hit the like button here. You guys want to do the preview? Okay? Because I have questions I'm going to ask you going into tonight's game and for the 2024 season for the Eagles. Okay? You guys want to hear the preview? Let's do the preview. Packers, Eagles. By the way, we will stop for Super Chats. If Barkley gets 20-plus carries, we win this game. Nick? Yes. But I do not believe he's going to. Nick? I agree. If he has 20 carries, you win 20-plus carries, 25 carries, you win the game. Yes. But I think you're going to throw the ball 40 times tonight. I think you'll have like 17, 16 carries somewhere in there. Be a lot of checkdowns, and Barkley protecting in the pass protection and pass probe. That's where I think his effective abilities are going to be used tonight. I do not believe they're going to try to control the clock. I absolutely do not believe that. Muggsy, appreciate this. Thank you. Big Sills, you carried this thing through the entire offseason with great content. Thanks for getting us to week 1. Go Birds. Muggsy, that is really cool of you, and I want to thank you for being part of this. And we can't do that without you. And I want to thank you very much for your super chat, and it means a lot to us, believe me, here. Because remember something, guys, we're fighting the big dogs, and that's what I love about it. I love being the underdog. I thought that's what the city of Philadelphia is. If there's anything that represents the city of Philly, it's JAKIB Sports. You know why? We're the underdogs, and we're still kicking your ass. How you feel about that? Hey, you know what? You can eat it. We're the underdogs and still beating your ass. Man, you know how rewarding that is? You got all this and all that, and get this. Still can't beat it. People still come here. Eagles still call my bosses every day. Imagine that. The Eagles call my bosses every day complaining about us, and they're in Brazil. Kind of crazy. Let's get to the preview. Damn right, Crowley. Run that ball, dude. Run that ball. That's how you're going to win. All right. Packers and Eagles. Two teams in 2023 heading in opposite directions at the end of the year. Packers heading in one direction. Eagles heading in one direction. Tank, thank you. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Eagles were trending down. By the end of the season, Packers were trending up. They are two of the top teams in the NFC right now. Make no mistake about it. Packers and Eagles are in the top 5 right now when it comes to rosters and ability to win, star players. There's no doubt. These are two of your better teams. Eagles offense has went through a complete facelift. This game tonight that you're heading into, this is a complete facelift. Motion, checkdowns, progression reading. This is all things that have never been done in the 3 years that Jalen Hurts has been a starting quarterback. Nothing when it comes to sequencing. You know, there were times when he had to read. There were times mostly, and by the way, he excelled at RPO. They're taking that almost completely out of the offense. Okay? I mean, think about it. It's a facelift because you go from RPO to motion offense and read offense. It's a complete facelift. It's an about face of the Eagle offense. Okay? I mean, it's completely different. So tonight, when you say, I think this guy's going to do this, it's hope. It's hope because they've not done it one time in any game situation. Not once. Okay? Sills, do you agree Hurts makes those throws that Lamar couldn't? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He hits that guy in the back of the end zone. Where Lamar throws it behind him, seconds or minutes left in the game, yes, Jalen makes that throw. Absolutely. Hey, get this. Look at this. Here is exactly what I'm talking about. See this guy? Lamar only missed one throw. You don't have that affordability against Patrick Mahomes to miss one throw in the end zone. You don't have that ability. Once again, dude, hey, Pay, he don't have to play a great game to beat you. You do. You do. You have to play a great game to beat him. You can't go, well, guess what? He only missed one. And that's not true. He didn't. He missed a bunch of throws. So get this. Christopher says a 2-time MVP is overrated. That's the first time I've ever heard that. That a two-time MVP is overrated. Okay. In the era where you have all these quarterbacks. Hey, Jalen could have won the MVP last year. What happened? Mahomes could have won the MVP last year. What happened? So let me go into this here. In 2022, really, if you think about it, this is the last time the Packers and the Eagles played. I think that was at Lincoln Financial. It was a shootout, 40-33. These are two completely different ball teams from that 2022 team. Love came in the fourth quarter, I think it was. We saw a little bit of him in the fourth quarter. Rodgers started that game. They went back and forth, and it was kind of a shootout. But those two teams from 22 do not resemble anything. Get this. This guy doesn't think it's a shootout when 73 points are scored. What's a shootout to you, JM, with 73 points? JM doesn't think 73 points is a shootout. 40-33. The fuck are you talking about? This guy can't add or think. I mean, dude, you're stupid. I thought Love came in and played well. Okay? I thought he did. He came in and played well. Dan Sileo, are you watching? Dude, of course I'm watching the game tonight. What do you? No. Hey, I'm going to watch the Bravo channel. Yeah. Yeah, that game in 22, these two teams are completely different. Eagles, Packers now. Here's some telling numbers here going into this game. And you tell me if you think they fixed this. Hurts quarterback passer rating versus the blitz was 75.2 in 2023. The Packers were third in creating pressure without blitzing even. There it is. Jalen was one of the worst quarterbacks in pro football versus the blitz last year. Have they addressed it? New center, new coordinator, new right guard. Have they addressed it? And will he be able to recognize it? This is right here. See Barron? He's right. That's how you negate that. Run the ball early. Run the ball early. Even if you get a 3 and out. Long as field position's not hurting you, don't get into a position where you start getting minus plays because of blitzes. Jalen was one of the worst quarterbacks in pro football a year ago against the blitz. 75.2 quarterback rating against the blitz. He was terrible. Okay? And Packers a year ago were one of the better teams in pro football at creating pressure, at getting to the quarterback. Something to keep an eye on going into this game tonight. And I agree with you, Tony, also. Got to run the ball early, I think. Calm them down. Calm them down. Okay? There's two issues on both sides of the ball. I think that blitzing is going to be an essential part of tonight's ball game. This is on the offensive side. And this defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, believes in pressure. And he's going to bring even more pressure than what they did a year ago, manufacturing it. This guy's not going to hang on a vine and die like Vic might with a bend but don't break defense. This guy doesn't buy that kind of. He's an aggressive guy. So you're going to either see a big play, plus 25 again. I think there's going to be a plus 25 play by the Eagles in this game tonight. Remember I said that. Xander, remember I said, I think there's going to be a big play in this game, plus 25 the Eagles make, because they're going to gamble, and Jalen has to find him, and if he does, there's going to be a big play opportunity. I think there's big play opportunity against this Packer team tonight. If Jalen recognizes the blitz, which he has not, setting pass protection and now recognizing the blitz and where the pressure's coming from are two things he's not had the issue with. He's not had to deal with that. That tonight is your game with Hurts. Recognizing pressure and being able to spot the open guy because Halfley is going to be aggressive tonight. He's going to be an aggressive dude. And if he finds the open receiver, did you see Mahomes last night find Xavier Worthy going down the sideline? He was wide open. Why? It was a broken coverage. It was broken coverage last night. Okay? They're a blitz-heavy team, Green Bay. If you thought the Buccaneers blitzed, wait until you see the Green Bay Packers tonight. They're going to bring a ton of heat tonight. And it's going to be up to Hurts, in my opinion. This is why I say early on, I would love to see Barkley run the ball, but most importantly, keep Barkley out there on third down for max protection. If you're going to throw the ball on third down, he has to be at max protection. Kenny Gainwell is on the football field tonight, and it's 3rd and 8. You're dead. He can't block. Barkley's got to play a ton of snaps tonight, mainly in pass pro and mainly in max pro. Okay? Yeah, yes, he's a pressure blitzing guy. Absolutely. And last year, get this, Green Bay didn't really have to manufacture any kind of blitzes because they created pressure, and they were 3rd best team in the league doing it a year ago. This is a big scenario tonight for Jalen. Identifying where the pressure's coming from, setting the right protection is going to be essential tonight. A lot of things on his plate. Vic's bend but don't break defense will be put on display tonight, and there is no question. In my opinion, I think Vic's got the scheme, but he doesn't have the horses. Eagles last year were 3rd worst football team in passes that resulted in touchdowns on 3rd down. Have they fixed that? This is going to come with pressure and keeping everything in front of them. Remember something. When you play zone, it's either a slow death. If you play man, it's a fast death. Vic believes in the slow death, if there is one. He doesn't want to get beat early, so he's going to play zone. That's the ideology of those two styles of defense if you don't have the right personnel. If you play man, it's a quick death. If you play zone, it's a slow death. I'd rather have the slow death because maybe my offense can keep me in the game and we can throw ourselves to a win. And that's where the Eagles are hoping, that they can play themselves with their offensive team to a win. Just like in 17 in the Super Bowl against Brady, you weren't stopping Brady, but you stopped him once, right? Brady had 500 yards in offense, but you stopped him once. That's all you needed in that game. That's kind of what you're going to see tonight. Is that mentality? Let me get 1-2 stops. We'll win. That's how the Eagles are thinking tonight. Hey, Sills, I need Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson to both get over 40 yards receiving to win my parlay. What are my chances? Shit. I think the Packers are going to have 2 guys over 100 yards tonight. They don't have anybody to cover these people. And the style of defense doesn't procure that. How can you stop receivers from gaining that kind of yardage when you're 10 yards off the ball and your safeties are 20? Fundamentally, you're giving them yards. What you're hoping to do is not give them points. That's what this defense is. Folks, they're going to surrender the yards by hoping to protect the points. So you're going to see a lot of yards tonight by Green Bay. A ton of yards. But they don't want to see a scenario where you get an opportunity where you give up a ton of points. Okay? So here's my prediction. 27-24. I think it's a close football game. I think the Packers win tonight. They have the better quarterback. I think there's a lot on their table. The Eagles, and by the way, if the Eagles don't win this game tonight, and you have Dallas Goedert, and you have those two receivers, and you have that running back, and you have that offensive line, and you don't win, in my opinion, you have no excuses to come home with your head down. You have the offense to win that game, and you might have the defensive scheme to slow that Packer team down. I don't believe it. I want to see it. You have not shown me enough, because you know why? You haven't done anything in the exhibition season, and fucking practicing at the NovaCare Center is not going to change my mind on who you are. You can have ESP and you can have everyone telling you how great they've practiced. I don't care. That's like telling me a Saturday kicker's a great Saturday kicker, and then when you get them on Sunday, it's wide right. I don't care. Show me tonight. Show me tonight. This is a completely different Eagle team. Completely different. Okay? You just spent here. You just spent all that time saying how bad our defense is. How can't we take the L? Because you guys are telling me you're a Super Bowl contender. You guys are telling me you have a Super Bowl team. I don't think you do. People in Philly do. I don't. Because you don't have a Super Bowl defense. Did you? A Super Bowl defense was on display last night. Where in the world could... Hey, let me ask you this. Let's do something in reality here. How many people think you have a Super Bowl defense right now? I'll show you guys something right now. Okay? Tell me. You think of a Super Bowl defense? Here. Marcus thinks they have a Super Bowl defense. How many people with brains in here will say that you have a Super Bowl defense? Now, let me rephrase that question. How many people think by the end of the year? There you go, two. There you go. I like what you just said. Now, let me rephrase that. They're picking two. How many people think you could have one by November? I do. You're not going to have one in September. I think if things go well and they buy into Vic, I think you could have. Listen, you may lose this game tonight. So what? But the media is going to go nuts, and they're going to kill you. One more time. If I see Cooper DeJean playing a lot of ball, here, this is how I'm going to balance this. If Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean play a ton of ball tonight, and they lose this ball game 27-24, like I said, in the long run, that could be a win. In the long run, that could be a win for you. Sills, who is our best player on defense? Carter. Carter's your best player. Okay? That's right. There you go, Kyle. Kyle, this is exactly what this is about, this journey tonight. Okay? Hey, I want to win the war, not the battles. Absolutely. Remember to promote game. Oh, yes. Hey, guys, don't forget our pre- and post-game show tonight. Big Sills is going to be doing the pregame show, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here on JAKIB Sports, the number one pregame show for all Eagle folks. Make sure you check it out. We so appreciate you guys so much. And It's been a grand slam that people are even copying it and copying the platform and copying what we do here. It's really kind of a badge of, it's kind of a merit badge that we sit here and that people are copying what we're doing here with our pregame show. So we absolutely appreciate you guys so much. Super Bowl defenses aren't determined week one. Amen. Hurts needs to get the ball out fast and spread it around. The check down is better than a pick. And dude, so is punting, Christopher, too. Hey, again, this is all about winning the war, not a battle. Okay? Hey, listen, they run the ball tonight, and there's 25 carries for Barkley. I'll say it to you. They went against certain things because, they've been really good at disguising what they're going to do tonight. Nobody knows what it's going to look like. If Saquon Barkley has 25 carries tonight, the Eagles will win. I don't believe that. I just don't. You're not going to pay those guys $51 million or $61 million to run the ball with Kenny Gainwell and Saquon Barkley. I just don't. Looking forward to you on the pregame show, Sills. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that, too. We look forward to you being there, too. Thank you again. I got 27-24 Packers. Get this. Let me show you how this can change immediately. And look at what the Bucs did to you. You pretty handily dispatched them early in the season, right? And the Bucs later in the year completely throttled you. You're going to face this Packer team again in the postseason if you get there. And if they get there, you're going to see them again. The team you see September 6th will never, in no way at all, resemble the team that you may play in January 6th. Okay? I don't think you're ready. I don't think you had not enough preseason prep for a game like that tonight. And most importantly, not that I think you needed it on offense. I just personally don't think you had it on defense. Too many inexperienced players, too many players with question marks, and I just don't see it. Okay? And they have the better quarterback. Now, could that change tonight and the narrative change tonight? Remember something about sports, which is really awesome. These people who have these takes that they think that are set in stone are the dumbest sports talk people I've ever known. Sports talk hosts don't determine a player's identity. A player determines his own identity. If a player shits the bed tonight, that's not a take. That's a player not performing well. How can you have a take when you don't know what a player's career is going to look like? You're not a fortune teller. You have no idea tonight. Most people go with the assumption of having it better. Me, I want to see it done. I'm not a guy who goes like this. I think that player is going to be a great football player. I'm not. I'm saying what I see a play. Like, look at Xavier Worthy last night. Do I think that guy can be Deshaun Jackson? I don't know, but he sure looked like it last night. That's my take on him. Am I saying he's going to have Deshaun Jackson's career? Absolutely not. But he sure looked like him. Close your eyes, you opened it, you were like, man, that looked like Deshaun Jackson. Okay? That's how I cover people. You are hoping. Me, I talk about certainties and who you are now. Penalties were a factor last night. The rest were not on their A game. That's for damn sure. Okay? They were not on their A game last night. Okay? It is going to be interesting to see how Vic's scheme plays this thing out for sure. All right. So there's my preview. Now, we're going to do my question marks or my questions. And I'll ask you if these have been addressed in your opinion. And by the way, these are opinions. If you want to throw your opinion out, it's okay. But here are my questions heading into tonight's game. Okay? How many people think that Jalen Hurts has a rebound year tonight? And starts tonight and has a rebound season? How many people believe he has a rebound? And tell me what lends you to believe that. And it's not Kellen Moore. This has got to come from the player. Kellen Moore, this is the player. 100% rebound. I do. He should. He didn't even have a terrible 23, just turnovers. Forrest says that. Forrest, that's not good enough to win Super Bowls. You pay a guy $50 million to be okay. It's not good enough. Sue, we will find out tonight. I have faith. Okay. Jalen is obsessed with getting better. So is Devin White, according to him. Preparation? Mr. Perez says me. Okay. So you guys are all in here saying that Jalen Hurts is going to have a rebound season. Okay. Me? I don't. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a better season than he had a year ago. But I think it's going to be still a progress for him learning how to pick up blitzes. I shouldn't say I don't, because he's going to learn more about the position this year than he's ever in his entire career. I shouldn't say that. I'll take that back. We love you in Dallas, Big Seals. Best show on. Thank you, Tank. I appreciate it. We're going to talk about your Cowboys too. I shouldn't say that. So I take that back about him having a rebound year. I think he's going to learn more this year about the quarterback position than any other year that he's had in Philadelphia. He's going to learn how to pick up blitzes. He's going to learn how to identify pressure, and he's going to learn how to progression read. That's going to be a transition for him. He's never done this. Okay? So if it's a slow process for him, hey, get this. You can have all the talent on the world, but if you don't know where to go with the ball, what's the point? Okay? Bob, you must have been a coach or something. Seals, I don't want a rebound. I want to strengthen his foundation so he doesn't backslide. That is exactly. But Bob, let me ask you this. Bob, the fans in here are thinking that this is going to be some transformation where he's going to go all of a sudden. And like Xander says, he's going to turn himself into a 4,600-yard passing guy and a 35 touchdown guy overnight. That's absurd. He's never done this in his entire NFL career. In the year he finished second and the MVP had 22 TDs passing the ball. That's absurd. For you to have him want to throw and be a pocket passer like that, that's going to take its time. Okay? So he's going to learn more about the position of quarterback today than any time he's been in Philly. And if you see him getting better get this, Jalen Hurts is going to look a lot like your defense. Jalen Hurts might look like an MVP candidate in December. But I don't believe he's going to look like one in September. And you go like this, well, we've seen him. That's a different Jalen. Stop going back to that. Not even the Eagles want to go back to that. Green Bay's new DC, Jeff Hatley, test Hurts blitz pickup by consistently showing blitzes just to keep Barkley in pass pro, nullifying his effectiveness. There's going to be a lot of disguises in that too, I would say. Suplex, I agree. Okay? Remember something. You're teaching him something new this year. Reading defenses, picking up pressure, identifying pressure. Last year, he didn't have to do any of that. And get this, he threw to 2 dudes. Now he's got more on his plate, and he's got to find 4 dudes. I want to see that. I want to see in 4 months how somebody can just transform into that. If that guy transforms into a 500-yard passer tonight, I'll eat crow on the postgame show tonight. I totally will. Totally will. Okay? I want to see it. Don't you? I'm not going to wish it. Stills, a quarter poll will tell us where we are. 2-2 with the kids playing, we're in good shape. 2-2 with dudes playing, we have a problem. Got it. No, you're right. So let's go here. Here's an important part, Bob. I think you'll agree with me on this. Bob, I think you'll agree with me on this here. Maybe some of you will too. You think Barkley plays more than 12 games this coming season? This guy's got to play a lot of games for them. He's going to be essential in this offense, in my opinion, in pass protection. I don't think he plays more than 12 ball games. Now, I'd rather have him in the back end than in the front end because I need him going into the playoffs. Let's see how many times he's played more than 12 ball games in the last 4 years. So I don't know what he's done. Maybe somebody can look that up for me. How many times has he played more than 12 games in the last 4 years? I think it's 1. Is right? But you're saying he'll play more than 12 this year. Is that right? And look at Joe. Says I'm wishing for injuries. No, I'm looking at trends of players and what they do health-wise. I don't wish anything on anybody. Dallas Goedert misses 25% of his career since he's been in the league. Okay? Drew says 3 years he's played more than 12 games. Okay, good. Good. He played 2 full seasons. Okay? So half of the 4 years he's missed. Okay, well, there's a 50-50 shot he plays more than 12 games. That's a trend. So we shall see. Think about that. You got a 50-50 shot. He'll play more than 12 ball games. Okay. Will Kellen Moore's offense be too complicated for Hurts? There's a reason why they had a dummy down defense last year, or offense, isn't it? It was predictable. They didn't really do a lot of things. They didn't throw across the middle. Tight end went out. That was the end of that position. They didn't go to number 3. They threw to 2 dudes. They had no flare passes, no screen downs, no check downs. I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm saying, will it be too complicated? John Gruden's offense is too complicated. I don't think Andy Reid's offense is too complicated. I think they simplify it and allow Mahomes to pretty much call his own game. Why does Jalen Hurts need an offensive coordinator? Don't you think Mahomes calls that game like he did last night, with Reid helping him and giving him a foundation? And if he sees something different in a ball game, Mahomes checks out of it. When does that time come? How long are you going to go with thinking the fact that a quarterback has to sit there and go verbatim? Patrick Mahomes won that Super Bowl going off script. Reid said it. Reid said he went off script. He started going to the RPOs. We weren't calling that. That was on him. Get this. Jalen threw one pick in practice against a shitty defense. Congratulations. Practice. What an idiot. Like the players and coaches said, that's not real football. It's funny. The players said that. That's not real football. But you count it as real football in practice because some dork is keeping the stats of non-football? How do you buy into that? How do you buy into that? Why didn't you audible your defense at Miami? We didn't have to. We murdered people. We were the offense when we were on the field. We dictated everything. We were number one ranked defense in the country 2 years in a row. We murdered people. Mahomes' helmet mic went out, and he panicked. Yeah, that guy looks like he panics. He sure does. he looks like he panics. That guy looks like he panics, Mahomes. Okay. Well, I didn't play with Ray Lewis. I played on the number one ranked defense and number one ranked pass cover team and number one defense in the country 2 years in a row. I don't know what Ray did. I know what we did. Okay. Sills, not too complicated, but if they overload him, making him drink through a fire hose, they will further stunt his growth. They need to build his skills. Isn't it funny, Bob? You and me are on the same page on this. I think you've got to kind of like bring it along. These fans think this guy's going to have some sort of like epiphany and all of a sudden turn himself into Steve Young tonight. And that's not going to happen. God forbid you have a 3-and-out right to start the game. Put your defense in a hole right away. Don't get behind. You should be like the Ravens. Sills, with Moore being released from two franchises, is it because he stinks? No, I don't think he stinks. Or is he a better option than Johnson? Is this a prove-it year for him also? Absolutely. Well, here, remember something, though. Ace, he did have two number one ranked offenses in Dallas. So he can show you. But I'll give you something that Jimmy Johnson said on this program about a year ago. There's certain coordinators that put up big numbers, like Brian Johnson, big scores, but don't know how to win games. Okay? And that's what Brian Johnson was. Those are like first or second year guys. And to some extent, that's Kellen Moore. Name me something Kellen Moore. How's Kellen Moore in the postseason as a coordinator with the Cowboys? But that's Dak now, right? When he was a coordinator in Dallas, it was him and Dak, not just, right? You can't have it both ways. So whose fault was it in Dallas? Hey, whose fault was it in Dallas? Was it Dak's? Okay. So Kellen Moore then comes here now. If Kellen Moore turns Jalen around, it was Dak. If Kellen Moore can't, it's Kellen Moore. So to answer your question, yes, there's pressure on him. Yes. Significant pressure on him. Nick goes like this. Dak's still choking in the playoffs. Kellen Moore was his coordinator. But it's Dak. I can't dispute that right now. But I will say that if Kellen Moore doesn't do anything for Jalen Hurts, he's Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was on a number one ranked defense up in New England. And when he got to Philly, in my opinion, I thought he got exposed as being a horrible coach. And he didn't have the umbrella or the security blanket of Bill Belichick. I mean, and I agree. Suplex. Harbaugh brought his own. So when Kellen Moore was fired and he was fired in Los Angeles, that's not really a fire. Harbaugh was bringing his own dude in anyway. And if it wasn't going to be a new dude, it was going to be Harbaugh himself. And Harbaugh's still going to call the plays. Harbaugh is a great play calling, and he is a great fixer. Stanford football sucked before he got there. Turned it into a winner. Michigan was never a national power. I don't know where people come up with that Michigan was a national power. Even during Bo Schembechler's time, when did they ever win a national title? I don't remember that. They've won a half of a national title in the last 90 years outside of a year ago. When were they ever a national power? They were never a national power. They were a Big Ten power. But Michigan, with Ohio State's the national power. Okay? They're the national power. Woody won 5 titles. Won 5 national titles. Bo won none. Highest ranking he ever had was second. Harbaugh changed that environment where Michigan is now a national power. It drives me. I mean, Michigan's a national power since when? I don't ever remember them fighting for national championships. I don't ever remember that. Jim Harbaugh is a culture changer. It would not stun me if they win 10 ball games in Los Angeles this year because of him. Vic Fangio, this is my take on Vic Fangio this year heading into tonight, and this is my take until otherwise proven differently here. I think Vic Fangio's scheme's going to work, but I don't think the players will early. I think you're going to have a lot of confusion, miscommunication, and a lot of big plays against that defense. They're going to have to keep their poise. And I don't know about touchdown big plays, but you're going to see big yardage plays. Vic's going to try to keep him early out of the end zone. Dude throws for 400 yards. 2 receivers have 100 yards, but you beat them 28-20. Who cares? Because the defense will get – that's how Kansas City in 22 acted. This is about how you finish. That's right. This is going to be a work in progress, and you'll know by midweek or mid-year where you are like you did a year ago. I was wrong. I thought they would have gotten better, but the offense fell apart, and it hurt the defense. And they got ran off the field. This is what my take is on Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis this year. I know a lot of you are optimistic. I think Jalen Carter is going to have a fabulous year, and I think he's going to be considered one of the absolutely best defensive tackles in pro football, and he's a 3-down DT. He's going to be a 9.5 sack guy. My opinion on Jordan Davis, he's going to be a dude. That's a good player, but he's not going to be what you think like a game-changing guy. He's not a game-changing player. He has not shown one propensity to be that guy. He's shown flashes of it, but he's not shown consistency at all in any way. I saw dominance by Carter last year where you saw what the potential was. I've never seen potential with Jordan Davis. Christian Watson against the Eagles or Brian Thomas Jr. versus Miami. Christian Watson. Because they're going to play they're going to play too far off the ball. He's going to get yards, man. I don't know about TDs, though. I don't know about TDs. Remember, you got Xavier Howard, and you've got Ramsey on the other side down there, too. You got some pretty good cover corners down there in Miami. Okay? Guys, please hit the like button. Appreciate it. Well, Davis may change that narrative. We'll see. Here's another one. Will Cam Jurgens replace Kelce. First up tonight against a blitz-happy team. Pass protection. 2 new dudes doing it. Quarterback, get this. Tonight is the first time in how many years did Jason Kelce play? 14 years? Where a quarterback in Philadelphia and a new center have to identify pressure and where the blitzes are coming from. 2 new dudes doing it tonight. Hurts and Jurgens. Never has anyone done it in 13 years. Thank you, Kyle. 14 years it's been since somebody other than Jason Kelce has called protections. You got 2 new dudes tonight. How's that going to go? We shall see. Okay? See, to me, I think the cerebral part of it tonight. Do I think Cam Jurgens is going to be maybe an upgrade and how Kelce sucked last year in the last 5 games of the year? He was not good. Could Cam be better? Maybe. Stronger, younger. Tonight, though, blitzing. They're going to test Cam Jurgens out, too. Hey, let me ask you this. Who are you more worried about in blitz? This is something that hasn't been brought up. Who are you more worried about in blitz protection tonight? Cam or Jalen? Who are you more worried about? Jurgens, Jalen. Both guys have never done it. You can't sit there and say one guy's done well. Well, Josh, Jurgens said the other day, and Nick Sirianni also said, or no, Kellen Moore said, it's kind of collaborative. Kind of still working together with it. QB's job to identify? That's what John says. It's the first year in Jalen Hurts' professional career. Tonight will be the first time he's ever done it. How do you think that goes, John? I by the way, I'm not being a smartass here. I don't know. It may look great. It may look great. I don't know. Okay? Okay? More worried about the Packers trying to keep up. Yeah, okay. With what, your defense? That won't be a problem. It's like a high school defense. Then you got Becton over there playing right guard. So you got a brand new guard playing a new position at right guard and a brand new center picking up blitzes and identifying pressure and a quarterback who's never called protections. You don't think that's an issue? You don't think that's an issue? We'll see. Finish this statement. Nakobe Dean will be what after tonight? Nakobe Dean will be what? Let's make sure we circle this. He'll get a game ball. Make sure you write that down. Let's leave that up there. Senor's picking him to be a game ball winner tonight. 10 tackles, says Brandon. I can't wait. I'm not making a prediction. I want to see what this guy does tonight. Let's see if he can get through 60 minutes of football. Eagles fan better not underestimate the defensive coordinator because he's a part of the 49ers all-decade team coaching staff. Secondary ranked number 1. Hey, Disciple, if you listen to people in Philadelphia, they said that they don't really believe that this guy's a good coach. I know he was on that that Robert Saleh defense. I know he was on that thing. Okay? Nakobe Dean night. Wait till I get to what Nick said about him. Holy shit. You would have think he was Chuck Bednarik. Oh, wait. Is that Xander or is that? Oh, I think both of them said it. Yeah. Leaving in a walking boot. Oh, man. Robert Saleh, the guy in the hot seat? No, the guy that helped that 49er team get to a Super Bowl. Who said he's a good coach as a head coach, dude? Once again, open your ears, senor. You don't listen very well, do you? I said coordinator in San Fran, jackass. It's not the same. Coordinator and head coach are two different jobs. Would you not think so? Senor, man. You got to get that shit out of your ear, man. You're not a very good listener, guy. Holy shit. Who lost the Super Bowl? The Eagles. Let's see here. What will Quinyon Mitchell's impact be on the team tonight? What do you think his impact on the team will be tonight? What will be the impact? Hopefully massive. I think it will be. Low? No. I think by the end of the night, you're going to look at him and go, he's your best secondary player. He may not start corner. It's only because they don't believe they have the personnel they need in that slot. I completely believe that Vic has fallen in love with the kid. And when you hear Vic Fangio talking about him, and here's the guy that drafted Patrick Surtain, I'm completely in belief that Vic thinks he's a really good player. And that he's going to play him everywhere he needs him. You know what he's going to be? He's going to be kind of like the problem solver wherever they need it. Corner, slot, nickel. They're going to put him all over. And he's going to be the problem solver. Do I like that? Not really. Because that's not what you drafted him for. You drafted him to be a corner on the number guy. You know? All right? Thought you were talking about Dean. Who? Jimmy Dean? I would never talk about James Dean that way. I would never. There's nothing. Get this. Nakobe Dean has done nothing in his professional career as a Philadelphia Eagle that is one thing redeeming or one thing that has a quality that makes me talk high of him. Not one thing he's done in his professional career as a player. There's not one redeeming quality that I see that I go, that was great. Not one. Until further noticed, that's my opinion of him. He has not done one thing as a professional football player. He's not durable, he's not reliable, and he's not consistent. And until any of those things are checked and those boxes are checked, you can have all your wishful thinking all you want. But that's who that player is. There's not one redeeming quality about the player that is worthy of him being out there. And John McMullen saying that guys look good in practice. Okay. I take John's value and I value his opinion. But I've never seen him in a ball game where that has applied. Okay? I've never seen it. I've actually seen more from Trotter Jr. in 4 months than I've seen in 3 years out of Nakobe Dean. I got more high expectations for Trotter Jr. than I do for Nakobe Dean. I feel more comfortable about Trotter Jr. than Dean. Okay? Is Trotter the athlete Dean is? No. Is he a better linebacker? Yes. Got better instincts, fundamentals, knows where to line up. He may not have the skill set, But smarts can sometimes get you in front of the play where athleticism. Look at Devin White. Devin White's got all the Devin White's probably one of the most athletic guys on the Eagles. Why isn't he playing? Foot injury. Nick says he tweaked it. So he tweaked an ankle injury. Those are the exact words on Devin White when asked about Devin White. What happened? He tweaked his ankle. Well, shit, Isaiah Rodgers made the trip to Brazil. And you just declared him out for tonight. Guy tweaks an ankle and he's not giving you an ability to give you some depth at linebacker? Nick was lying right to your faces. It was a bull-faced lie. When he said that about Devin White, I was so unbelievably disappointed in him lying like that. He should have just said, you know what I would have done? Next question. I wouldn't have answered it because you left more hanging out there. He tweaked his ankle. Well, shit, I would have brought him anyway. Maybe he could still help me. I mean, what a shitty answer. Stupid. By the way, Sirianni must have loved those Brazilian NFL reporters because I don't know what the fuck they were asking. Hey, how's your food in the hotel? Hey, how's your bed? How's the security at the hotel? Yeah, it's great. This. I mean, hey, did you like the Mai Tais in the hotel? I mean, I was like, what? Okay, is there any questions about football going to be asked? I mean, I don't even know what the questions they were. Somebody asked about defensive motion. I'm like, what? What's that? They need to get some better NFL Brazilian reporters down there because they were going like, hey, Nick, how does the hotel and the food in the hotel? Good. First class. And Nick was asked a question about, hey, some of the players are bitching about like crime in Brazil. We're very, very, very excited about playing our football game at Georgia State Institution of Correction Facility of Men or Maricopa County Facility for Men. And you know what? Brazil has been really spectacular. I thought we were playing the Mean Machine. Holy cow, man. That was so dopey. I mean, yeah, he danced around that when he goes. The players thought that the crime rate in Brazil, they were complaining about it. We're very excited to play him in a crime-ridden country like Brazil. Can't wait tonight. How you doing? Oh, man. And why don't you just tell the truth? Yes, I hear you have a lot of crime down here. Did you not watch the Olympics? Oh, man. Hey, Nick. And Nick, how does the food? Good. Hasn't given me diarrhea yet. I'm good. Oh, man. I was like, shit. He must have loved that interview because it made me have a little bit more respect for the Philly media. At least they asked him some questions. What do you think about the defensive motion and the D and the gun? And I was like, defensive motion? Yeah, okay. Hey, look at Maniac. They should play in Venezuela next. Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one. Okay, yeah, then he can play for that guy over there. No, better yet, Maniac. The next game is going to be played over there with the chairman of China. You're going to see at Tiananmen Square. Eagles versus Cowboys, Tiananmen Square. That's coming next to you pretty soon, next year. Tiananmen Square. You're going to see the Cowboys playing at Tiananmen Square. And the chairman of China is going to be going like this. How you doing? Oh, no, wait. I don't think we can play in China because the NBA would have a bitch with that. The NBA would have a bitch with that. That's right. I forgot. That communist country is isolated to the NBA. All right. When will you know if the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender? What game? What game will you know when they're a Super Bowl contender? Week 4. 12, I like it, Mike. 6 or 7, that's not horrible. Week 9, holy cow, look at Perez actually saying something smart. Yale 8. Browns. Okay. Holy cow, you guys are actually pretty good there. Guys, do me a favor. Xander's going to join us in a couple minutes. Hit that like button. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. This football season, we have a brand new partner, and you're looking for a brand new betting house. BetUS is that place. This is your answer. We've been partnering up with our friends at BetUS. Absolutely one of the great places this football season, and it's off to a great start already after last night's game. 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K is there for you. Simple as that. Do me a favor and go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa, home of Michael Vick. This is where you see Mad Vick, Mad Scrambler, Michael Vick. This is his home here. Absolutely the fastest payouts in the business. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES. Eagles.
78 passes, 80 passes in 2 games for the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Where in your right mind do you think that's a formula to beat Patrick Mahomes? You're not going to outthrow that guy. And look at this. Look at this game here. 273 passing, 122 rushing. It's the 14th time in his career he's done that shit. Dual threat. He'll never win a Super Bowl as long as they have that mentality in big games. Here's the easiest thing that you need to know about the Ravens. Get a lead on them, they can't beat you, and they can't come from behind. Here is the one thing that he has proven. It's one thing he's proven, Lamar. He can't throw you to win, and he can't throw you out of trouble. If you're behind, you're behind. That's it. And if you're playing Mahomes and you're behind, it's over. You know the funny thing about Mahomes? How many times have you seen Mahomes down 20 points and come back and win? There was like a Tennessee game a couple of years ago. He was down in a playoff game, like 21 points, and came back and beat him 21. I mean, you're not going to – dude, you're going to beat pretty much – Lamar is exactly, almost to a T, what Jalen is. In a game that has to matter for you to win, can you throw your team to a victory? Some would go, Sills, look at what Jalen did in the Super Bowl, okay? Jalen Hurts is not going to throw consistently in games and put up 350 yards passing. He's not. That's not what his skill set is. And by the way, in 22, Kansas City was worried about his sprint abilities. They were worried about the ability to sprint the ball. Now they're not worried about it. Dude, tonight, Green Bay, he's going to be here's how I would defend Jalen Hurts tonight, knowing that they went and got Saquon Barkley. Will he run tonight? I would say this. Let's see if that number comes to be a truth tonight. Okay? I say Jalen Hurts runs the ball. Of the amount of runs, I say he runs 10%. That's not enough to win that game. I think he's got to be around 18% of the rush plays because that keeps me honest. Saquon Barkley doesn't scare me. Hurts does, running the ball. Saquon Barkley's never scared anybody. That guy's not a guy where you lined up and went, wow, holy shit, he could single-handedly beat you. Albeit on shitty teams, I get it. But I've never looked at Barkley and went, woo. 22, I looked at Hurts and went, damn. Man, it could have been, like I said yesterday, 3rd and 15. And I went, he's getting that. Last year, if it was 3rd and 15, I said he's never getting that. He's never getting that. And he didn't. Look at the difference between 22 and 23 when it came to third down differences. How many times were the Eagles in 3rd and short 22 versus 3rd and long in 23? There was your season. Led to high percentage turnover plays. That's why the turnovers were high. You threw to predictable people. And in 22, the predictability was taken away because of the inability to be able to run the ball. The quarterback run the ball. Wink Martindale told you that. Say whatever you want. All due respect, every win the Giants got was because of Saquon. Saquon Barkley has never lived up to the number 2 draft choice in New York. He's never. Daniel, do you really think he's lived up to being the 2nd pick in the draft? Has he? Do you believe, Daniel, before I get Xander on, do you believe that Saquon Barkley has lived up to being the 2nd pick in NFL draft? Do you think he's lived up to that? Being the 2nd pick in the draft? Not a chance. Get this. Never gave him an O-line. You'll have to excuse me, but I don't remember Derrick Henry in Tennessee having a great football team around him. I don't remember that. They didn't even know how to use A.J. Brown. They didn't even know how to do it. That's not the second pick in the draft. By the way, tonight, pre and post, 7 o'clock, baby. We are going to start a new journey here on JAKIB Sports, and we are so looking forward to it. Then we're going to be doing the post game, and we will give you our honest assessment. And by the way, I can't wait to be on with John with that, because it'll be interesting to see how John saw the game, how I saw the game, how Xander saw the game. I'm going to be looking forward to this. So don't forget, tonight, 7 o'clock, we'll do our pregame show, and then we'll have the postgame show right after the game tonight, Brazil versus the Packers. So without further ado, he will be hosting that tonight. He co-hosts the Birds 365 in the morning. What an absolute rise he has had when it comes to being, I mean, he's really, really doing a great job. Our friend Xander Krauss, he joins us now. We're looking forward to that tonight. Xander, big night tonight, my friend.
What's up, Big Sills? Huge night tonight, man. Massive night for the Eagles season. We've been talking about it for months now, almost 7 months since this thing wrapped up last year. And it's back, baby. It is freaking back, and I cannot wait for this team to kick off tonight. 8:15 p.m. Eastern time kickoff.
Let me go back a little bit and circle back here to my predictions and how I see this thing playing out tonight. And I'll ask you a question, and then we'll go into some of the question marks that I put into 2024 heading into tonight and into the season. So in 2023, Jalen Hurts had a 75.2 rating against the blitz. The Packers were third most when it came to creating pressure on third down in that scenario, and or against the blitz, or third without using pressure of blitzing. That's what they were third in. Here's a football team now with Jeff Hafley, who's probably going to be more aggressive. They didn't have to a year ago blitz, but they were third in pressure. So you tell me, do you think that that's been resolved?
Well, the Eagles' handling of the blitz has obviously not been resolved, but we haven't seen it yet. So we're going to see it early and often tonight, Sills. It's going to be the biggest question mark for the offensive side of the ball tonight in the game. I think Jeff Hafley is going to be an aggressive defensive coordinator. We don't know much about him. He came from college. He's, I think he has some minor experience in the NFL.
49ers.
Yeah, right. But it wasn't a coordinator, right? It was what was he? Do you know what he was?
I thought he was on that Robert Saleh staff.
Yeah, I think he was a I'd have to look.
Is he a quality control guy?
I'll figure out what it was. So he was defensive backs coach for the 49ers, defensive backs coach for the Browns as well. So he does have some NFL pedigree, but first time being a coordinator, I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to bring the heat tonight on Jalen Hurts. And look, how many times has Hurts said this summer, we talked about it last week with the slight knock on Kelsey, with, all the new stuff with the offense. It's on him. And he has said that over and over again this offseason. So it's on him and it's on Kellen, and we're going to see how well they are prepared to handle the blitz coming, because the Packers are going to bring it tonight. I don't know if you caught Jeff Hafley's one press conference. They're like, how are you going to call plays out there? He says, I'm going to let it rip. Now, I don't know what exactly that means, but that's what he said. So I'm assuming they're going to let it rip, and they're going to bring the pressure on Jalen, because, look, the book is out on him. That's how you beat this Eagles offense, is you bring pressure and you fluster the quarterback. So will Jalen rise above that? Will Kellen have the game plan, to counter it? I think they will, but it's going to be the biggest thing we're watching tonight in this game.
How about this, too? It's not just the fact that Hurts being able to identify pressure. Now you got a new center that is now going to be making identifications when it comes to identifying pressure. And you got a right guard who's never played guard before in a game situation. Good so point. You have that dynamic. And then on top of that, you have a quarterback that's never called protections. And you got a new coordinator. Do you think there's too many of those dynamics for this to be a smooth, as Kellen likes to call it, operation? Or do you think, again, Xander, that this is going to take a little time? If that defense is going to take time, Don't you think that identifying of blitzing and all that stuff in game situation is also going to take time? Or do you think this is really, and a new running back, like Yale said, and a new running back and pass protection? You think all of those question marks, a player playing a new position in the right guard position, you got a center making protection calls, which he's never done. You got a quarterback making protection calls, which he's never done. Too many question marks heading into the night?
I mean, I think they are question marks, but look, there's no other way to answer them other than get out there and play. You know, Kelsey was going to retire at some point, and he did. So look, we're going to see. From everything you hear about Cam Jurgens, I'm not saying he's going to be Jason Kelsey, but it does seem like he's going to be a viable replacement for Jason Kelsey. At least, you know, it'll take him a little bit, I think, but I think he's going to be good at that position. Right guard, we're going to see. I think Mekhi Becton's big for that position. We'll see how he looks out there. But you're right. I mean, everything you bring up is a valid question, but look, it's here. Eagles got to answer the calls now. You know, they've been talking about it. We've been talking about it all off season. It's time, baby, for them to put up or shut up, and I think they're going to put up tonight.
Do you think this has been addressed? The Eagles last year allowed 80.6% touchdowns from goal to goal when it came to drives a year ago. It was the fourth worst mark on sustained drives versus that defense. You think they've addressed that? Because remember something with this defense, this is control and contain. This is not big play defense. So to me, this is a guy who wants to keep everything in the 20s, 20 to 20. He's not looking, Xander. He's looking to keep you off the scoreboard, not off the stat sheet.
Yeah, no, you're right about that for sure, which gives me a little bit of concern because, you know, how many 3 and outs are you going to get to keep your offense on the field? How fresh is your defense going to be in that second half? Look, I mean, I get it, the whole 20 to 20 thing and keeping them off the scoreboard, but if you're letting them drive 50, 60 yards every time, even if they end up with a field goal only, your defense is going to be canned. You know, and your offense is going to lose some of their momentum by sitting on the sideline for that whole drive. So I think you got to try and create more 3 and outs this year. I don't know if Fangio is going to do it, but if I'm a defensive coordinator, that's how I would be. I would be trying to create 3 and outs and kind of living with the results if they end up beating me every once in a while. Now you don't want to overcommit to it, but every once in a while you got to get off the field. You know, so we're going to see what's going to be tonight. Look. Everybody's been high on Vic Fangio all off season. There seems to be, yeah, and you included, which almost gives me concern because it's like even Big Sills is high on this guy. I like him. He's been around a long time, but we're going to see. I don't love the style of defense. That's not so much a knock on him as it is just the style of play. But you know, you got to get this team, got to get this offense off the field and put it in your offense's hands so you can control the clock, control the game. And let them kind of manage it that way. But we're going to see how it plays out tonight.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Don't forget our pregame show at 7 o'clock Eastern and also our postgame.
Can't wait for that, Big Sills, by the way.
And also, too, our postgame show immediately after the game tonight from Brazil, Packers and Eagles. So make sure you guys have some appointment setting on that. Okay, so here are my questions going into this season. You believe Hurts has a rebound season. Why?
I think they've set it up for him to have the perfect rebound. I think he has all the assets in the world. I mean, you can't complain. You know, if this thing doesn't work, it's going to come squarely on Jalen Hurts because he's got the wide receivers. They traded another 3rd-round pick to get a 3rd wide receiver. They got the tight end in Dallas Goedert. They got the running back now in Saquon Barkley. They even have two solid running backs with Kenny Gainwell.
Yep.
They got one of the best offensive lines in the league. So I think everything is set up for him. And then me personally, I love the approach that Kellen Moore has had in the past. We haven't seen it yet in Philly. I'm assuming it's going to look something like what he's done in the past. I like the way he works the ball around. I like the way he spreads the football. I think he's a smarter coordinator in terms of it's common sense, right? If they're bringing the blitz, create some routes for Jalen to get rid of the ball quickly. There was none of that last year, right? Everything was deep and up the sideline. It made it almost impossible for Jalen to counter the blitz. So I like the setup with Kellen Moore. I've continued to say I think he's going to be the best setup with Jalen. It's going to be more of a pro-style offense would be my guess. So we're going to see how it works out. But I think look, I really do think Jalen has an MVP type year this year. And I'm not saying that because I'm an Eagle fan. I mean, from an objective point of view, when you look at the roster around him And when you combine that with what Kellen's been able to do in the NFL with 2 number 1 offenses, with what he did with Dak Prescott, the way he utilized the running backs in Dallas, I think it's a recipe for success. I really do.
I think it's a bumpy start to the season for him because he's
being asked. I mean, it could be. Look, it's a new coordinator, man. It could be, but
and new responsibilities, like Kelsey said.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, how he plays, Xander, it might. And when I say this with respect here too to him. It might be bumpy, but he might be playing like an MVP in December. Because look, he's doing things he's never been asked to do. Like you said, I can't sit here right now and at 3:40 go like this Eastern time and look at you and go, he's not. I've not seen him. Like when I see Mahomes and I watch Mahomes knows exactly, and I know exactly what that guy is going to do at all times. And you know what that is? He's going to improvise inside the guardrails. I'll tell you this about Mahomes last night. He separated himself last night even further from the second best guy at that position in the league. He's so fucking good.
He really is. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Even when and I didn't think he played great, but Lamar had to play exceptional to tie the game.
I know. And here's the other thing about Mahomes that I'd like to see more of from Jalen. And I'm not trying to compare him to Pat Mahomes, but that one touchdown to Xavier Worthy, that the blown coverage behind who was it? Marlon Humphrey. I mean, you got to take advantage of them. Mahomes never misses when you have a breakdown in coverage.
Lamar missed that touchdown
exactly.
pass.
And even sometimes last year, you had a lot of people breaking down the 22 film of the Eagles games after, and you saw Jalen miss some opportunities like that. When the defense breaks down or they have a lapse in coverage, you have to make them pay. And there's nobody better at doing that than Pat Mahomes. And I'd like to see Jalen take a step forward in doing that because I think it could result in easy touchdowns for this team. There was many of them last year. And if not a touchdown, easy yardage, easy first downs, and he missed some of those last year. And I think that's partly because of the way he was playing and still trying to acclimate to the reading of the defenses. I don't think he was getting through all his progressions. So that's something I'd like to see Jalen do better this year. But boy, watching that guy play last night. I mean, I know you're right. He didn't have his best game, but he is a special player, man. He is a special, special football player.
I closed my eyes last night. I opened them and I went, Deshaun Jackson plays in Kansas City.
It's funny. I heard you say that at the open. Yeah.
I'm like, how come when I look at, Xavier Worthy, I go, wait a minute. That's Deshaun Jackson. 20-yard runs, a 30-yard touchdown pass. Dude, one thing that Brett Veach was an Eagle personnel guy at one time. He worked in the personnel department, Brett Veach.
Did he?
Oh.
Did he? He's really done a good job with
him.
By the way, no, I'll say about Xavier Worthy because I love the player, but
I didn't think I thought the other guy at Texas was better.
I love where he got drafted though more than I like the player because nobody's better at using that speed than Andy Reid. And if you look at Xavier Worthy, he's a pretty small dude. If you send him to another football team and they line him up, on the outside and press man, I don't think he's going to create much space. But when you have Andy Reid who knows how to work you into the game, even that first touchdown he had last night on that big jet sweep, he was like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage and he just blows through for a touchdown. Andy Reid knows how to use that speed. So it's a really good pair with Andy Reid and him. I think he's going to be a good player and another weapon for Patrick Mahomes.
Will the Kellen Moore offense be too complicated for Hurts at the beginning? And what I mean by that is here, I've got to identify where I think the pressure's coming from. I'm going to set the pass protection. Then I'm going to call the play. Then I may have to audible out of all that. And you have a new center, right guard in a new position, all those dynamics, and a quarterback doing it for the first time. Will it be at first training wheels or will Kellen do it the right way? Let's run the ball, 20 carries tonight. Let's get it going because we know they're going to bring pressure. Xander, if I know that Green Bay's bringing pressure, I'm going to try to combat the pressure with running the ball and trying to create some gap plays in the run game to kind of loosen them up and stop it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I
look,
don't want him to sit there and be patting in the back there looking like Wentz or a year ago going down because he's overthinking shit.
You're right, but I have a feeling Kellen and Jalen understand that it's going to be a new thing. And by the way, you talk about this. Maybe if they played a couple preseason snaps, I'd feel a little bit better about this thing. You watched it last night. Patrick Mahomes, he got some preseason snaps. I'm not saying they're the end all be all.
Played a ton of them.
But at the end of the day, there's going to be rust tonight. If you haven't taken a snap in an NFL game in 234 days, I think it was, since we lost to the Buccaneers, there's going to be rust.
Absolutely.
Anything in life. If I don't do a show for 234 days, right. I mean, so I do think there's going to be an acclimation period. But to answer your question about the offense being too much for Jalen, I don't think so. I think they're going to ramp it up slowly. I don't think they're going to come out of the gates above what Jalen understands about this offense so far. It might be this offense might look different in week 10 than it does in week 1.
I think it will.
I think it will, right. But I don't think they're going to try and fluster him. Kellen put a major emphasis on a smooth operation or a clean operation, he called it. I think they're going to try and stick to that the best they can. And look, sometimes I don't think that's such a bad thing. Keep it simple. Sometimes keeping it simple, keeping it to the fundamentals works. And I'm all right with that. So I don't think it's going to be too much for him. I think they're going to, maybe it'll ramp up slower than we're expecting, but I do think he's going to be all right, especially here tonight in Sao Paulo.
Sills, did you see a big jump from 21 to 22? I did. And then
I saw a massive jump, Des. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw a decline from 22 to 23.
Yeah, which many pointed out.
The bye could be a blessing in disguise. It could be the start of it. It could be
JAKIB, you're spot on, brother.
Start on a bump. Absolutely, JAKIB. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Andy Reid is the play calling GOAT. Absolutely. Well,
no doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
I think he's better though.
So, by the way, we did miss a super chat from our man Abe, my main man Abe. Appreciate you, Abe, one of our channel members. So I do want to hit that.
On third down conversions in 2023, Packers had a 47.97 and Eagles had a 46.5 ranking. Packers third best and Eagles fifth best in the NFL. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, that's going to be big this year, though. This team needs to stay on the field on third down. They need to move the sticks. And conversely, on defense, when you have a third down, you got to get off the field. So it's a good stat, Abe, because a lot of times that is an indicator on how good your team can be. If you're a great third down team, you can be tough to beat at times because you just stay on the field. So good point, Abe.
How about this, Abe? Let me ask you this: when you play a too high safety in a zone defense, and you got an offense that you're playing that was third in efficiency and conversions, you think that's going to be a tough night tonight?
What's that, Sil? Sorry about that.
Well, you're talking about a football team that's third in conversions on third down in the NFL, one of the highest conversion teams on third down, and you're playing a too high safety defense and a zone defense. Boy, I'll tell you what, man, you better have pressure tonight, because if you do not have pressure, that guy's going to be on the field for 10-play drives tonight because you can't get off the field.
Look, that's the scary part about tonight is that I think it's, in a way, I think it's a little bit of a matchup dream for Matt LaFleur. I like Vic Fangio, but
he wants a shootout. You're right.
Right. That soft defense, Matt LaFleur knows how to exploit that. And when you have a 3rd and 7, like you just pointed out, he knows what to call. And in a way, that makes me a little nervous on this defense tonight with, you have a very talented play caller in Matt LaFleur, a guy who understands offensive football, who really made Jordan Love a great, he threw for almost 4300 passing.
Developing of a quarterback.
Developing him, So, look, that gives me some agita tonight because you're looking at it and you're like, and then on the flip side, they have Jeff Hafley, who we're assuming is going to bring pressure, which in the past has created problems for the Eagles on third down. Now, let's see how they handle it tonight, but I do think it's a little bit of a good matchup if you're a Packers fan, with Matt LaFleur going up against Vic Fangio. They love that bend but don't break, That's he's going to throw the ball all over the yard, right? I mean, remember last year, same defense. Everybody was saying, why are you making Sam Howell look like Patrick Mahomes.
800 yards in 2 games.
It's unbelievable. So in a way, if you have the right offensive mind, you can feast on this defense. Even if it doesn't mean they score every drive, you can feast in between the 20s. And, hopefully it's not the reason for our demise tonight.
I got to say, man, if you really look at it, Washington a year ago was the most competitive games that you had in the NFC East. I mean, you took care of business against Dallas at home, and then the Dallas Cowboys blew you out in Arlington. Those Washington games, they came down to the last minutes of the ball game. Those were 60-minute ball games last year when you played against Washington. Let me ask you this. Go back against the scheme here. Are you more concerned about Vic Fangio's scheme, or are you more concerned about the players playing the scheme?
It's a good question. I would say I'm not. I mean, the scheme, when you talk about the scheme in general, it's not my style of defense. If I was a defensive coordinator, not that I have any qualifications to be that in the NFL, I would not run a bend but don't break style. I would live and die on my. I would try and get pressure. I would try and create pressure. That would be my style of defense. I like that style. So the scheme I don't love in general, but you kind of need,
Isn't it a cover for the lack of talent?
Are our linebackers going to be good enough to play this scheme? You kind of need good linebackers when you have this type of scheme. And I think Nakobe's going to be okay. I think, right? We're projecting, we're hoping. Hope is not a strategy. So, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I think it's a little bit of, players, are they going to be able to play it? Do we have the right personnel to play it throughout the entire defense? And then the scheme is just, I think in a way the NFL is kind of caught up to the scheme. And that's my gripe with the hiring of Fangio.
I think a lot of defenses play this scheme, though.
It's like 18 of it's like it's more than half
all over the
defense.
league now.
It's all over. That's what I mean. It's not anything new. Defense offensive coordinators that know this scheme, they know how to go against it. They've learned it now. So I don't love it from that perspective, but I think to your point, I would have a little bit more concern with the players playing the scheme right now than the scheme itself.
Eagle Podcast, you kind of when you posted it here, and I appreciate the super chat. Thank
you,
friend.
perfect timing for Eagle Podcast. Good post.
I personally think that because of the new rule changes in the NFL, the lack of hip drop tackle and everything else that they're trying to take out of the game, I personally think that the too high safety, Vic's not going to run an antiquated defense in today's NFL if he's not going to be able to utilize the schemes. This is one of the things that I think has changed the Eagles' offensive mentality. You guys never had a 100-catch wide receiver in the team's history. You guys have rarely had really big-time wide receivers in your organization. You've always had tight ends. Well, what changed? The NFL changed. Now the Eagles have 2 great wide receivers. Since when? Since when in their history have they ever had a duo like this in their history of their franchise? You know why? The NFL has changed. It's a high-powered offensive league now. They want offense. So, Xander, that's why they're taking the defense out, and it has a lot to do with prop bets. So to answer your question,
you're right.
It comes back down that this is the NFL of today. Seeing Gang Green, seeing the 85 Bears defense, seeing those Lawrence Taylor defenses, they're not there any longer. You're not going to see those big-time defenses. I will say this, though. That Kansas City defense last night was fucking lights out.
They're good, man.
That Chris Jones, let me say that.
He is an unbelievable
awesome
player. He is an unbelievable
He might win
player.
Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable player. We missed this super chat. Eric, I love the super chat, brother, because, early on and when the schedule came out, and even a week ago, when we talked about my win projection for this team, I had the Philadelphia Eagles losing this game. Even when the schedule came out, I had them going 13-4. One of the losses was this opening game. A week ago, when I modified my win projection right here on the National Football Show with Dan Sileo, I had one of the 3 losses being this game. I changed that when I made my projection or my prediction this morning on Birds 365. I went 34-31 Eagles. And Eric, that's the reason why. Because I don't think this offensive line on the Green Bay Packers is going to be able to deal with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, who, whether you like him or not, is a guy that eats up 2 blocks. So when you have 2 guys in the middle that require 2 blockers, What's that going to do for Bryce Huff? What's that going to do for Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, all these other guys that are getting after the quarterback? I think you're right, Eric. I think Jalen Carter is the X factor tonight, and I think he could be the reason the Eagles win the game.
Saturday morning, Bondi Beach, big screen, Brazilian dancers, cheesecakes, and taking my son. What a good time.
Sydney family. I think he's from Australia, Sydney family. He's
So wait a minute. You got the Eagles now 15-2?
Well, no, because I'm going to look. Each game is different. I have to pick each game, but I do think they're going to get the win tonight. I've the more I've researched the game, I've looked into it. I just don't think that offensive line still is going to be able to deal with it. I really do. I do not see it. How are they, Sills? If you have everybody healthy tonight and you can get them in 3rd and long, how are they going to stop our defensive front? How? They will not be able to stop that defensive front, and that
same way Washington
in the game.
Same way Washington did last year. 5-step drops, 3-step drops, quick passes. Because you know why? You don't have anyone covering them. You're 10 yards off the ball, Xander. When I drop back and I throw, and your DBs are 10 yards off the ball, I don't have to take 7-step drops.
No, you're right. Look, I hear you.
Time to get there.
I hear you, brother. I hear what you're saying. I see the concern with it as well from the other side of the
And Love's going to eat that defense apart.
Look, he's either going to eat it apart or he's going to wither a little bit. Because, look, this is a guy who's played half a season of great football. I need to see it a little bit more. And look, here's the other thing I'll say about Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio has been around this league a long time. Not only that, but you're talking about a full off season to game plan for a guy that now finally the league has tape on. Last year, it was tough to play against Jordan Love. We didn't know what the hell he was going to do. Now there's some tape on him. I think Vic Fangio is going to kind of see what got to him last year, especially early in the year, and play to his strengths there. If you have Jalen Carter in the middle creating that much, chaos and havoc, I think it could be look, I get it. Everybody can say, oh, he can do a screen pass or he can do a quick slant. I get it. What, do you think I'm dumb? I understand that that's how you get out of it. But sometimes when you just have a player that's that good, it's not as easy as it sounds. And I think you could see a little bit of Jordan Love being a deer in the headlights tonight if that defensive front can create the kind of pressure I'm hoping they can create.
This is kind of like a Super Bowl kind of environment with the travel, neutral
every
field.
game in Philly is a Super Bowl. Don't you get it? There's 17 of these things. There's
You're on the road. You're not at the
156 days until the Super Bowl. It's a sprint to the finish. The city is jacked up. My entire family, my cousins are jacked up. My extended family's jacked up. My beautiful girlfriend's jacked up. Everybody's fired up for this team to get going. It's a Super Bowl every single Sunday in Philly, baby.
27-24 Packers. Here you go. Get this.
I got 34-31 Sills. I think it's a higher scoring game, and I think the Eagles get the win at the end because maybe Jalen Carter can wreak some havoc late in the game and stop that final drive from the Packers.
I hope he plays like Chris Jones tonight because I think he can be that guy. That guy was just a
but here's the question with that, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you Jalen Carter has the talent yet of Chris Jones. I think he has that potential.
Yeah.
But do we have the coordinator that's going to use him like Steve Spagnuolo uses Chris Jones?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know why? Wait, because he's going to keep him in a one technique. He's not going to put him in a two like Patricia did. And when he was in a one technique, he was a runaway rookie of the year.
I know.
Matt Patricia cost him the rookie of the year award last year because they asked him to do something.
He was so far and away the rookie of the year.
So far away. He had a 4-game lead on Will Anderson.
No, you're right.
He had a 4-game lead on
Will Anderson. Yeah, close the gap, but
the gap because you know why? D'Amico Ryans knew how to play Will Anderson and knew how to bring him along. They knew exactly what they were doing with him. He was so far ahead. All right, finish this statement. Nakobe Dean will be what after tonight's game?
Shit, Sills, you're going to do it to me. 50% of me wants to say a bona fide starting linebacker in the NFL. The other 50% of me wants to say he's burnt toast and he's fried chicken after Matt LaFleur game play or schemes against him and tries to get him in coverage. I don't know, man. Look, I can't even answer that right now. I got to wait and see it on Nakobe Dean. The guy's played 4 or 5 games in his career. I'm cautiously optimistic on Nakobe Dean right now. You know, Fly Eagles says it. Average or toast? Actually, I think he's going to be great or toast, Fly Eagles, but it's one or the other for me. So hopefully he has a good game tonight. Look, if you're Matt LaFleur and you look at this Eagles defense, who you targeting? It's Nakobe Dean all day long. It's both of those linebackers. Both of those linebackers. So he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight. He's either going to answer the call or he's going to go back into the smoker machine.
Get this. Jalen here is right. Can Carter handle the snaps that Chris Jones dies for? I mean, this guy was playing like that in the fourth quarter.
And Chris Jones he's pretty old too. I think they just gave him a huge new contract.
Isn't he like 32 or some shit like that, or 31 now? I mean,
30. So he's 30. So he just turned 30 in July.
Horrible.
A little younger than I thought. But I think he just got a huge new contract.
Dude, he did. Hey, they're paying him like 25 or something.
5-year, $158 million contract.
Like 25 million per or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, he was
even more than that. So
fourth quarter. Yeah, 30, isn't it?
It's 30.
Yeah. Hey, so he was in the fourth quarter killing that team.
It's 31-5. He's getting holy. You're right, though. Look, you got to be able to play late in games, and that was one of the knocks on Jalen Carter last year. And I see our man Abe, who brings up a good point in the chat. Let me find it real quick. You know, Abe, this is all fine and dandy. He says Xander Carter had the best ranked pass rusher in all rookie history. Not even Donald nor Chris Jones can do that. Abe, part of being great in the NFL, though, is what Sileo just talked about. You can't fall off in the fourth quarter. You can't fall off in week 14 because you're tired. So if Jalen Carter answers that part of his game, I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he could be the best defensive tackle in the league within 2 or 3 years. Maybe even by the end of this year. But Chris Jones is pretty damn good, Sills. I don't know if he's going to pass him yet.
Dude, he is the guy in Tennessee is awful good. The guy in New York, the Giants, the Lawrence kid is awful good interior.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence, he is an absolute beast.
Yeah, he's a good player too. Let me throw kind of the same question at you here. At the end of tonight's game, Cam Jurgens will be what?
I think Cam Jurgens will be
solidified.
Solidified. That's a great word. I think he'll be exactly what Eagles fans are hoping he will be. And I think Eagles fans that aren't living in delusion aren't expecting him to be Jason Kelce. You can't just expect a guy to replace a Hall of Fame caliber guy. But I think he's going to be better than expected. I think he's going to be at least maybe call it 70% of what Kelce was, maybe even higher than that, based on Kelce's last year. What last year wasn't Kelce's greatest year as a pro as last year in the league. So I think we're good with Cam Jurgens, man. I think the city's going to be happy with him at center.
You think the organization's kind of holding their breath on him tonight too to see what that thing's going to look like? Because again, I'm with you, and I think I'm with them. I think he's a good player, but here he is playing center. This is the most snaps he's ever going to play at center in pro football, and now he's doing certain things that he's never been asked to do. There's got to be a little sigh of relief for them even too tonight to see how he handles it.
Look, I think you're right. Naturally, it's natural for them to think that, but I think there are other players that the Eagles have on their mind.
You're more concerned about Jurgens or Becton tonight?
I think the organization's more concerned about Becton. I'm more concerned about Becton.
Me too. I'm more concerned about that. Also, how about this one? At the end of tonight's game, what impact will Quinyon Mitchell have made?
Talk about another guy that's getting thrown into the deep end of the pool, man.
In numerous positions. Nickel. Nickel, you're talking about putting him in slot. You're talking about putting him on the corner. Hey, by the way, before you answer that, what was John's response to Keely Ringo starting over at corner?
He liked it. I mean, he said it's actually an injury with Isaiah. There's nothing, he was.
I didn't know he was hurt. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I had not heard
he was hoping he could be back for the game. That's why he flew down there with the team. But ultimately, it just didn't get healthy enough. But John agreed with you. He thought Keely Ringo was a better matchup for this team. Now, I will say this. John said, if it were me, though, I would create ways to not even have to get Keely on the field. If you can get Quinyon to the outside and get Avonte Maddox in the slot, I think that best serves you.
I agree.
But we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see what they're going to do, man, who they're going to roll out. You haven't heard much of Avonte playing slot, so he was great when he did it. But we're going to see what they roll out there. It's going to be interesting to see.
No question. So the impact you think Quinyon Mitchell has tonight will be what? I think it's going to be huge.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I don't think they're going to. I mean, here's the problem, right? How does Quinyon Mitchell handle a 6'4" Christian Watson?
Off the ball.
Off the ball, but I mean, shit, man, throw it up like Christian Watson. That guy is a good receiver. That guy has some
like 6'3" also. He's like a 6'3" guy.
6'4". I mean, he's huge and he's got great hands. So I do think it's an uphill battle for all of our corners. I mean, look, I like Darius Slay too, everybody, but I don't know how good he's going to cover a guy that's 6'3" and an athletic freak that can run, jump, sprint, run routes, and do everything. So it's going to be a tough. I mean, look, those Packers receivers, everybody has kind of gotten caught up in that they don't have a number one or a bona fide number one like we do. They got 4 dudes, and really it's 5 dudes, as John pointed out to me, that can play. And when
even at tight end.
Yep, and the tight end, that's another guy. I mean, and when you have a quarterback that trusts those guys, that can be dangerous sometimes. It gives you a lot of freedom as a coach to line players up all over the field and pick apart mismatches and create mismatches. And I think it is easy to do that against this Eagles defense when you look at, I like Quinyon, but he is a rookie. I'd pick on him if I were an offensive coordinator. Who's going to play that slot? Is it Avante? I'd still pick on him if it was him. Look at the linebackers. How do you create, mismatches with the linebackers in coverage? I do think there's moments, even Reed Blankenship.
Yep.
I don't. I like Reed, but
If
I'm, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm going to try and pick on him. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do and how they answer the call tonight.
2 more questions for you, Xander, but I want to get to our friends at BetUS here, our new betting book house during this football season. You can bet tonight. Hopefully you took advantage of it last night with KC and Baltimore. Great relationship that we have. 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K. This is our place. We are inviting you to join us with the new betting house here in our relationship now here with BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. 365-day personal service, live wagering on all major games, fastest payouts in the business. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you. Be right back.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. We appreciate you guys so much, more than you know. And by the way, the super chats have been off the charts today, and we can't thank you enough. Don't forget also, 7 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to do our pregame, and then we'll be immediately following the conclusion of tonight's Packer-Eagle game. We will do our postgame show tonight, our legendary JAKIB's postgame show. By the way, other platforms are trying to duplicate it, but you can never replicate it, and that's what we have here. Because everyone's trying. These guys did such a great job by putting this post-game show together. Everybody's trying to duplicate it. It's a great merit badge to what Joe Krauss and Xander have done by putting that post-game, and I'm proud to be part of it. I usually don't do that stuff, but for this, I would definitely be honored to be part of it. So we're looking forward to it tonight. I got to bring this up to you, Xander. So, I mean, the questions, I mean, Nick was probably in heaven with those Brazilian NFL reporters, man, because hey, how does the food? It's great, and no diarrhea yet.
I mean, what the hell?
I mean, I was like, hey, the motion defense that you have, and I'm like, motion defense, boy, he must be in heaven. Bob Lane must have took the day off because he didn't have to worry. But one guy did do this. Hey, Devin White, he goes, yeah, he kind of got nicked up, and he kind of tweaked his ankle. So wait a minute, he tweaked his ankle. You didn't fly him down. Isaiah Rodgers tweaked his hand or what have you. They thought maybe they could get him to go Friday. Dude, what is going on with Devin White? Did John have any insight on that?
John's got some funny feelings about it. He didn't get any insight. Remember, he's not in Sao Paulo. We didn't send him down there. So he hasn't been able to talk to some of the sources he's able to talk to. But, he's got some funny feelings. I'm going to make a bold prediction about Devin White And I hope I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll come on here and admit that I was drop dead wrong on it. I think this is the beginning of the end for Devin White and Philly. I think he could be gone by the trade deadline. He either
Can I make a bigger one?
Traded. I think he could be gone.
I think they could cut him next Tuesday.
I think you might be right. I didn't want to go that far, but I'm willing to eat my words. I just it's a weird situation. It's eerily similar to what happened with him in Tampa Bay. He has shown in the past he hasn't taken to things like this very well. If there is some type of things that happen that wasn't all injury related, so maybe I'm wrong, but shoot, man, I don't know. It does feel a little weird. All of a sudden, Devin White is not even traveling with the team. So Devin White's on his couch right now, wherever the hell he is, waiting for the game tonight. What's he thinking? What's going through his head? Maybe he's injured. Maybe it's true. I don't know.
I'm not giving him the benefit because you know what? The people in Tampa did it.
Yeah,
they're not shocked. Hey, let me ask you this one: do you think Devin White ever sees the field as an Eagle?
I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look like it. It really doesn't. But if he gets healthy and it is an injury, I think he could be back. But John said there's no way he plays the will, so he's going to be riding pine until Nakobe Dean goes down.
Wow. Oh my God. See, can I tell you what Devin White's hoping for? He's hoping for Nakobe gets hurt tonight.
Oh, geez. I hope not. But you might be right about that for his personal.
Well, dude, selfish players think selfish things.
Yeah, but you know what, Sils? If Nakobe Dean gets hurt tonight and Devin White doesn't have his heart or his mind in the right spot and doesn't want to give everything for this city, give me Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And you know what? I'll live with the results, even if it sucks. Because I don't want a guy.
I'm not hoping that.
By the way, I don't know if this is actually Devin White. So maybe my read on it is wrong. But if it is true that he doesn't have the mentality that the Eagles are trying to move on from, that there's been a stink, shit, man, move on from the guy. Give me Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
I never thought I'd say this about Nakobe Dean. Actually, knowing that this guy here has this shitty attitude like that, you're actually hoping Dean plays his ass off tonight. So he goes out there and balls his ass off.
Forget Devin White. I'm hoping Dean plays his ass off anyway. But I don't know. We're going to see. It's interesting, though. The Devin White story is a little interesting for sure, no doubt.
Two last ones here. How long will it take for you to know that the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender? How many weeks?
Well, if you asked me in week 11 last year, I'd say that they're going to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to reserve my judgment on that till way late in the year this year. I want to be playing great football after Thanksgiving. At the end of the day,
December 1st,
I'd love to get a win tonight, everybody. I really would. But this is not where our bread is buttered. Not in this season. Not coming off a collapse like you did last year. We need to be playing our best football late in the year. Fly Eagles, I love you, brother, but 7 to 12 weeks. If we asked this question after week 12 last year, you would have said, hell yeah, we're a Super Bowl contender. We got trounced by Baker Mayfield and the Bucs in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Big Sills was the only guy telling you the truth. Remember, then Seth came around last year, and we were all like this.
Yeah, don't give Seth too much credit. He didn't come around either. He was drinking the Kool-Aid like no other. I was right there watching it.
Absolutely.
Let me make sure we get everybody's super chats. A lot of people dropping supers. Appreciate all you guys. Goddard and CJG to remind NFL who they are today. Not a bad projection. I like Goddard. I'm not as high, Sydney, on
healthy.
CJ.
Stay healthy on both these guys.
15 games in 2 years, man. That's 15 out of 34. You're playing under 50% of your games in the last 2 years. So I got some concerns about him, but you're right. I mean, he's a good player. So hopefully he can stay healthy and he can put it all out there, but we'll see.
Here it is, final one. Do you believe by the end of the season, Nick Sirianni will head into 2025 as the Eagle head coach?
I do. Because I think they've built this team so well around him that you're not going to be able to fire him if they have any level of success. Because remember, he's 3 years here. He's been in the playoffs 3 straight years.
And a Super Bowl and an NFC title.
Exactly. So if he gets to the playoffs this year, it's tough to justify canning that guy. You know, he's got
I
one
don't
of
know
the
if I've ever heard a guy go to 4 playoffs in a row
and get canned.
And get canned.
And to add icing to the
Only Jimmy Johnson, really, right?
Yeah, to
Only
add salt
Jimmy.
to the wound. Let me see if I can pull up this stat real quick. I'll get for you, which is an impressive stat on Nick Sirianni. Just give me 2 seconds, and I should be able to find it.
I mean, like only Jimmy winning a Super Bowl and then getting fired would be something like this, where you had a guy, or like Marty Schottenheimer when he was 14-2, that he ended up getting canned because they lost an AFC Championship game to Tom Brady and to the Patriots back in the day. I mean, you go to 4 playoffs in a row, and you're like a 4-3 mark in the postseason as a head. I mean, Mike Tomlin doesn't have a 500 record as a postseason. You know that Mike Tomlin doesn't have a 500 record or better as a Steeler coach in the postseason?
It's unbelievable. Here's a stat. You ready for this stat on Nick Sirianni? This is why it's so tough to move on from the guy if he has any level of success this year, meaning playoffs. Since 2022, there are only 3 NFL head coaches with a winning percentage of 735 and above. Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and Nick Sirianni. The guy's winning games. Whether it's him or it's not him, doesn't really matter. If he gets to the playoffs this year, I just don't see him being on the outs. And by the way, I will say a little bit of not breaking news, but an update on the game tonight. Let me just go to this real quick. Gates and so Nick Gates as your backup center, which is what we projected here on Birds 365 for anybody that tuned in, and EJ Jenkins, a backup tight end, which makes sense because they only have 2 tight ends. Those are your elevations from the practice squad for the game tonight.
Very cool. That's great insight here. If D White is vested, vet $2.2 million base salary guarantees week 1.
They're not tripping over $2.2 million. I promise you that.
No way. No way. And plus, you know what? If it's conduct detrimental to the team, they can file a grievance with the NFL Players Association to negate and battle that salary that they're paying him too, depending if it's conduct. And that's what organizations will do. That there was some sort of conflict, they'll file a grievance with the union, with the player, and then they'll go through the arbitration. So the Eagles will have a route to do that if there's any kind of issue. So I'm saying, and then tonight, by the way, don't forget pre and post tonight on JAKIB. I'm saying 27-24 Packers tonight in a close one. By the way, I think the Packers have to win it in the last drive.
Yeah, see, this.
I think they're going to have the lead going in, and I think that defense is not going to be able to hold Jordan Love back.
I got the Eagles. I said it on Birds 365. I put up a short on JAKIB Sports today. 34-31. I think the difference maker is that Eagles defensive line. I think it's Jalen Carter. I think he slows down any final drives that come from the Packers. And I think the Eagles squeak away in a shootout tonight. And Jalen Hurts is a big game. That's my projection for the night. I think 34-31 Eagles tonight.
You got a little higher.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, man. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Because of both defenses. And this kid Hafley, this Jeff Hafley guy, he's going to – I think, get this, I think there's going to be big play opportunities for the Eagle offense because if he's bringing pressure, there's going to be plus 25 plays for the offense if Jalen can find them. You know what I'm saying, Xander? Like, last night you brought up when Mahomes found Xavier Worthy wide open down the sidelines on a broken coverage. Things last year that Hurts missed. If he can find that, there's going to be big play opportunities.
That's what I said earlier. No doubt about it. That's going to be a big key tonight. So we're going to be tuned in, Big Sills. Make sure everybody tunes in for the JAKIB pregame show and the JAKIB postgame show. I might even do a halftime show with just me to give you guys a quick 5 to 10 minute update. But we're looking forward to it. Big game day shows tonight. For those who missed our announcement yesterday, Dan Sileo, the lead on the JAKIB postgame show. Can't wait to do it this year. Going to be a great time. Going to be a fun season, Big Sills. It's here, brother. We can't. We had a long off season. Of catching up. It's going to be good
tonight, brother. I really can't. Where are we in the like list right now, Xander? Because a lot of folks have been on with us here. We so appreciate it. By the way, thank you guys. Your super chat
217, man. Yep, and 560 watching. Let's bump that. Bump that like number up. Appreciate all you guys.
Absolutely, and thank you guys so much for the super chats. You guys, We can't thank you enough for that. Okay, Xander, I'll see you tonight, my friend. Pre-game show will be at 7 o'clock Eastern time, getting ready for Packers and Eagles tonight. Then our post-game show right here on JAKIB. And don't forget also Birds 365 in the morning with Xander and John McMullen. Guys, thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Xander, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Xander.
Appreciate yourselves, everybody in the chat. Thank you, guys. And I better see y'all tonight at the JAKIB pregame show and the JAKIB postgame show after the Eagles get their first win tonight. Appreciate everybody. Thank you, Sills.
You got it, man. Absolutely awesome. Great segment every single day. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We will reset, and tonight's game has another twist to it. I'll tell you what that is. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys so much. James, thank you for the super chat. Absolutely spectacular. Guys, you guys are killing the super chats and also the like button today. So thank you very much. I said all year we weren't a Super Bowl team because the way we won those games were pathetic. Half of those teams beat themselves. He's talking about last year, obviously. Even Jason Kelce came out and said it, James, that many of those games last year, they were able just to pull it out, and they could have went either way. There were so many of those ball games. I've never seen a more miserable 11-win team in my life than last year. That team was just absolutely miserable. Look at this here. Marcus says, apology video? Oh, no. Jordan Love is going to play his ass off tonight. I say 30. Here's Jordan Love tonight. Against your shit defense, 30, 47 for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Josh Jacobs adds a TD in that. How you doing? Woo! 400 yards passing tonight. And you'll continue the trend of what happened a year ago. How you doing? Okay. Jordan Love throwing at least 1 pick. There's more of a chance of Jalen Hurts throwing a pick tonight than Jordan Love. Hurts threw more picks. There's more of a chance of him throwing a pick than Love. How you doing? Look at Steve. Steve adds this on. I disagree. Okay, that's cool. You're full of shit. Okay, you're full of shit. All right. Apology video with a Hurts jersey and a bowl of crow, says Marcus. Yeah, whatever, dude. Hey, let's get to your words. Hey, wait a minute. Let's get to your word salad coach who spoke in Brazil to the Brazilian media. Holy shit, this guy. There was only one question that was asked that was decent. Okay? What's this douche saying? Last year. Yeah. So you give the guy benefit of the doubt for sucking. All of a sudden, get this. Someone's going to give somebody the benefit of the doubt because they didn't play a game at all since the time they got blown out by the Bucs. But you're better. How? How are you better? Coordinators. Okay. Coordinators. So guys in a chalkboard in a classroom makes you better. Okay. Sills, what happened to you and Seth? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wish him well. Okay? Wish him well. He's got nothing to do with me. And personally, him saying some of the things that he said, I would never say anything disparaging towards Seth Joyner. That's how he feels. I don't lower myself to make someone feel better about themselves or get into a back and forth with someone like that. It's not my deal. Like Domowitz, I don't know. He wants to call shit to me and talk shit to me. Why would I talk shit to him? I don't know who he is or about him. So I'm not going to say anything bad about Seth Joyner. Knew my friend Jerome very well. Great friend. I thought we were friends, but it turned out to be we were business friends. I'm not mad. No, got me wrong at all. No. Once again, Andreas, let me give you a little insight on Sills. For you to make me mad like someone like Seth, and then you find out that it was just a business relationship, you would have to make it sound like I respect that mentality. Because I would have to respect that to be upset. I'm not upset. Okay? I'm not upset. Okay? My relationships with people are real, not business related. I don't get into business with people I don't like because it never works out that way. Okay? That did nothing. He said that I'm the ultimate Eagle hater or something. Okay. It's his opinion. Okay. I thought we were friends, but it turned out as long as Joe Krauss was paying him, he was friends with everybody here. That's what I found out. Enough of that. It's okay. Good luck. It's all good. I want to get into my NFL bold predictions. I also want to talk a little bit about what Nick Sirianni had to say. Okay? Thank you, Steve. That's exactly how I see it. Sills, I don't think you're a hater. Very critical of our Eagles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's correct. Okay. Yeah. You got to remember something. African surf. The Eagles don't like me talking the way I do. Seth Joyner doesn't like the way I talk about the Eagles. And this is why I'm doing the pre and post game show and why people tune in. That's why he responds. I didn't at him. Everyone responds, including the Eagles, to my bosses. This is why we're doing the pre and post. Because everybody has an ass with what I say, including former great players, current players. This is why we've been in the business 35 years. Well, yeah, I think you misunderstand me. Like I lay in bed and go, how can I aggravate? I'm not that smart. Not that smart. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Means a lot. Okay. Look at this one, Xander. It's your Trump type delivery. China. No, Mr. President, it's China. China. No. It's China. It's not China. You have to respect Dan. He always says his opinions. You can't get upset over his view. He will give you the Eagles props when they do better, when he thinks to. That's right, Random. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. That's exactly. All good. Hey, by the way, last time I'm saying this. Good luck, Seth. Just like everyone who's ever played here or worked here, great luck to everyone. Nobody has a hard word to say towards anybody. It's not what we do here. We press on. Respect. It's just the delivery skills, everybody. This is what Xander says. Xander goes like this. Never. Okay? Never. You good, Sills. You good, Sills. All love. We just talk shit. Absolutely, Jack. That's absolutely the truth. Okay? Okay? Hey, I'm Akbar. Hey, Akbar. I'm going to post it but not say anything. Xander, Joe. Right? I don't know. Why is it different from me? Oh. Okay. All right. Oh. Absolutely. Let's see here. No. The biggest Eagle truth teller. How you doing? Okay? How you doing? Hey, J-Bone. Big Sills, happy Friday, my man. Dalton, thank you for being here. Hopefully you'll join us tonight on our pre- and post-game show. Hey, get this, too. How come you guys didn't give me the credit when I picked you to go to the Super Bowl in 22? Okay? I mean, right? Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Publicity is publicity. Just so happens Eagles want to control the narrative. Little do they know they get Sills more watchers. Holy cow. Will, you must have worked in broadcasting. That's exactly what. Hey, Will, I'll move on here. So the Buccaneers did the same shit to me. By the way, I got and my aunt hates it when I do this, but let me bring up the monkey comment. So that was a mistake. It was poor language. All that. I'm sorry. I've done it 1,000 times. All that. iHeart goes like this. Just do an apology. We're good. Everything's great. So they issue an apology. Buccaneers call. Not good enough. We want them off the air. Was their chance because I told them to kick rocks. I was doing 10 shares. And I was killing them because under Mark Dominic, they were 25-54. And I said, this guy's not a general manager. He's a bookworm. He's a librarian. He's not a general manager. I don't even know how that guy got on TV, got on Colin Cowherd. He's horrible as a talent evaluator, Mark Dominic. He was a GM at the Bucks. I'm on the flagship station of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers call my bosses and go, little did they know I had a job already in Miami lined up. I was leaving anyway after 15 years. I was gone, but they couldn't let it go. Me and the Bucks are good now. Bruce Arians fixed it. He fixed it for me. So we're good. Okay? We're good now. So me and the Bucks sent me my helmet that got stolen and all that shit. It was all good. Okay? All good, man. My homies are out in Florida looking for you, homie. We're going to make you eat your words, bro. It's not about the birds. It's about the shit you've been saying on Twitter. We're going to find and smoke. Hey, kiss my ass. How's that for you, kid? Dude, trust me. Guys like you sit in your mom's basement holding a keyboard pretending you're a tough guy. You saw someone like me, I'd smash you. I'd break glass and you'd be very disappointed. How you doing? Let's get into this now. That was fun here. How's Uncle Luke feel? I don't care how Uncle Luke feels. Hey, if my beliefs and my positions and how I feel about things loses friends, that's a you thing. That's a you thing. My friendships shouldn't be based on my beliefs or my takes on the Eagles or the Bucks or any of that stuff. Because I don't believe in what you believed, you're mad at me and you take it personal. That's a you thing again. Just remember that. You have a problem with your life. Okay? If you don't like my political beliefs or you don't like my religious beliefs, that's a freaking you thing. I'm not going to make you feel better about yourself and your life. I'm not going that far to make you feel better about your life. So all right. Come on, man. It's kickoff. Last night was a great game. This much was the difference in that KC Baltimore. It's still just a tie to thing. Okay? Just a tie to thing. And get in a room so that you can have a conversation and an opportunity to play that team in overtime. That's the distance that Kansas City has. Crazy. So let's get into Nick talking in Brazil. He says this. A lot of new looks to this offense this year. You know, we really don't know what we're going to be looking at until we get into a game. We don't know what we're going to be seeing. And I'm going like this. Of course they don't know, because you know why? They haven't practiced it. Yale, Kansas City. Hey, Yale, let me ask you this. Yale, how much preseason football, then playing 3 quarters of football? They played 2 quarters in the second preseason game, and they played 1 full quarter in the first preseason game. How much do you think that played a factor in them winning that game against Baltimore last night? And Baltimore didn't play Lamar Jackson at all in exhibition football. How much do you think that played working out the kinks and getting out the rust on the offense last night? A team that practiced it in exhibition football, and one team didn't. I think it had a massive impact in it. The Eagles don't even know what they look like. They have no idea. Kansas City did. You're telling me not playing Lamar Jackson at all in the exhibition season and him missing those passes last night had no bearing? Look at Yale, 35%. I'm with you too. So why wouldn't that play a factor tonight with the Eagle offense, with all these new little tricks they have to do? Quarterback's got to pick up blitz blitzes. He's got to set protection. He's got to identify where he thinks the blitz is coming from. He's got to call new plays. You got a new center. You got a new right guard. And you never practiced it. Or actually, excuse me, I'll take that back. You've never played a game with it. You've never played a game. How about this? How many pre-snap penalties do you think the Eagles have tonight? Let's keep an eye on that number. Illegal procedure. Let's see how many pre-snap penalties the Eagle offense has tonight, because that'll tell you a little more on how many they have. You watch. Let's see. They have never played a game with this offense. Never played a game. They have never played a football game. Is that on Stout, says Yale. I think that's on reps. Get this. Hey, Yale, I wonder how much Jeff Stoutland wanted to play in the preseason to see if his quarterback could pick up blitzes. And Vic Fangio got his way. They probably gave it to Vic more so because you know why? Vic has a lot of new coaches and a lot of new faces over there. Probably a lot of new. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So there's a lot of new looks. Guys, please hit the like. Hey, tell me where we are in the like list, by the way. Guys are killing it today, and I want to thank you. Don't forget our pregame show at 7 o'clock tonight and our postgame show immediately after, too, right here on JAKIB. We appreciate it. He was asked a question about the players. Stills, does pre-snap penalties usually happen when it's not a home game because it's the crowd and the yelling and all? Yeah. Yeah, and also this, too. Abe, think about this. 262, thank you, guys. 263. Guys, you guys are killing it. Love to see if we can get to 300 by the top of the hour. Hey, get this. Abe, to your question, neutral site, Brazilian fan base, you're going to have a lot of people in there screaming because they don't even know what the hell they're screaming for. And what you're going to have is a lot of crowd noise in there. You might even have some pumped-in crowd noise. So what you're going to get is, how about this? You've never played a game, and you've got to deal with communication tonight. Yale, tell these folks. So you're going to go to a silent snap count with guys who've never played, new offense, new center, a guy playing out of position at right guard, and a quarterback who's never called protections. And that's going to be seamless tonight, right? Like Xander says, he sees a really big year for him. Well, do you see a really big night tonight? I think you're seeing a bumpy night tonight. I think Jalen Hurts will look better by the end of the game than he will at the beginning of the game. He'll look better by the end of the game because he'll be able to have gotten some snaps. And plus, get this. That's right. I love that. What Yale said. Plus, you don't have the pressure of the Philly fans in Jordan Love's ear. Hey, man, Packers got away with one here. They got, like Xander said, this is a great matchup because you know why? You got an offense going against a suspect defense and vice versa. You want to get into a shootout because you think your quarterback can throw your team the victory. You think you have a better passer than Jalen. That's what I would think. And that's what Matt LaFleur wants. Plus, you don't get the crowd of the Philadelphia crowd and fan base screaming at Jordan Love on pre-snap penalties. And also, you have to go to silent count in one of those closed ends. Shit, that's advantage Green Bay. Get this. You stole the home field advantage away from the Eagles in this game tonight. Shit, they're playing a road game. It's a road game. It ain't a home game. I mean, the only reason they're going to make it a home game is because they took it away from Philly. That's such a disadvantage to the Eagles. The Philly fan base not barking. I'll tell you what. I saw the Philly fan base barking in Arizona, not at the Super Bowl. When they played the Cardinals, it was a factor. Real fans can disagree. Henry needs to be in I formation, trying to run out of the spread is what hurt DeMarco when he tried to in Chip's offense. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see here. Listen, I think it's going to be incredible. I really do. I think it's going to be incredible on what you're. Hey, Xander, do me a favor. Please make sure you send Philly Godfather the link, please. Okay, if you can, so we can get him for the next hour there. Hit the like button here. So let's go on here. He says this. The weather could it be a factor tonight when it comes to the humidity tonight in Brazil? I think it's supposed to be raining a little bit. So that could be a factor tonight as well, the weather. By the way, Philly Godfather, we're going to go through the NFL games this at 5:30 Eastern time. So we'll talk to him and we'll get you set up for the NFL weekend and tonight's game. The weather could be a factor. We'll see if Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are in shape tonight. By the way, conditioning will be an issue. Conditioning will be an issue tonight. Okay? Our stadium is going to be loud. You know, they were asked a lot of questions about the players making conversation about the criminal activity and about the crime that was in Brazil. I didn't think that was an appropriate setting. If a player's got a problem with the crime rate in Brazil, how's that a problem? Just like this one here. I have such a problem with Mike Tirico bringing bullshit up about players while he is a play-by-play guy is so disgusting with the accusations of sexual harassment that he had at ESPN. For him to indict players like he did last night and just not call a football game was absolutely one of the biggest asshole things you could possibly do to a player. He was the Rashid Rice stuff and also the stuff with Matt Ariza. For a play-by-play guy, what other play-by-play guy have you ever heard bring up someone's issues when it comes to criminal behavior or pending things that could be an issue? He's such an asshole, Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico had so many sexual harassment cases filed against him at ESPN. It is mind-numbing how he can be a hypocrite like that and bring those type of things up when Matt Ariza was completely exonerated. Ridiculous. By the way, I posted on my Twitter, my daughter went to school with Matt Ariza. And he went to Rancho Bernardo with her. Then again, Cole Hamels also went to school at Rancho Bernardo. And Cole Hamels was a little bit before her, but Matt Ariza went to school and she knew him. And they knew one another. They were both athletes, obviously, at Rancho. And I posted his picture in the year. I think I got it here. Matt Ariza. I think I got that picture here. Didi went to school with him at Rancho. Yeah, here. This kid here is Matt Ariza. This kid here, right there, that's Matt Ariza. And went to Rancho Bernardo. My daughter went to school. And he was on the football team. There he is right there at the bottom left. So she goes, Dad, I know this guy. We're watching the game last night. And Didi goes, Dad, I know this guy. I'm like, you know Matt Ariza. I didn't remember that he went to Rancho. I didn't know he was a local guy. Okay, I didn't know he was a local guy. And she's like, Dad, I knew him. I knew him well. We did things together, like, we did like sporting events together. I'm like, holy shit, it's true. Okay. Crazy, man. Let's see ya. Yes, he went to San Diego State. I covered him. I voted for him for All-American. Okay. Let's see here. That shit struck a nerve. I'm mad as shit. Seth went, hey, it's Akbar. Don't be, man. It's okay. Thank Akbar. Let it go. Because I have. It's all good. No worries, man. I'll tell you what, there's only one question, though, that was asked for me that was significant here to Nick Sirianni in Brazil. Okay? Devin White, according to Nick, twisted his ankle. Tweaked his ankle, he said. He tweaked it the other day. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are. And I was like, so wait a minute. Devin White, did he tweak the same ankle he tweaked in Tampa when he had a cow about the contract not being negotiated correctly? That's what he did? I mean, Devin White has a character problem. And I know certain people who are analysts who thought that guy was going to be a massive impact on this team. I got to hand it to John McMullen. And me too. John never thought he was really – John, am I right, Xander? It was like after the first or second week. I could have swore I remember John saying, I don't know if he makes the team. I could have swore I remember him saying that. I thought John said that. He goes, I don't know. I thought John said that. And well, I don't know if he makes the team. Does he get out of camp? Well, look what happened. He doesn't get out of camp. He doesn't even get on the bus. I'll say this to you. If I am an NFL team and I see what's going on in Philly with Devin White, I would have such a problem bringing him on my team. My recollection is White and Dean and Bond. McMullen said White wasn't shipped before they even started OTAs. JM, I thought that's what I heard John say too. Okay? I mean, you know the good thing, Arthur, about Big Sills not having to worry about my conditioning is that your guys had to worry about conditioning his entire time as an Eagle. You're right. I don't have to. I could drink a Corona. This guy needs to stop eating White Castles. Got a game to play. Or in Brazil, chalupas. Hey, Jordan, not too many chalupas. Or is that Venezuelan? I forget. You know, I got my country screwed up. Don't eat a chalupa. It's either, I think chalupa's Venezuelan. Okay? I don't know, man. Whatever they eat in Brazil. Hey, I don't have a problem with the Philadelphia players talking shit about crime going on in Brazil, but the reporters asked, why didn't Nick just answer it? Hey, you know, you're kind of concerned when you go to a different country. You don't know what to expect. I don't have a problem with it. But you're trying to be what? Let me guess. What's Nick, a statesman now? Oh, no, the accommodations are great. I'm sure they are. Hey, I'm sure when you go to another country and you don't speak the English and you can't even ask a guy where the hell's the bathroom or where you can get something to eat, I'm sure the accommodations are good. Oh, fajita? JM, is that what it is in Brazil, a fajita? I thought that was Mexican, but hey, okay. Mexican food is the GOAT. Hey, Jack, you know, when I grew up only on Italian food. You got to understand this. I never ate McDonald's until my senior year in high school. I didn't go to McDonald's. And I never had, we had Chinese food because my grandfather did business with with a guy who bought our lobsters. And so he would cook us like fried rice. My grandpa liked fried rice. So we get egg rolls and all kinds of stuff. So we ate and my grandpa liked Chinese food. So we ate Chinese food. We ate pizza, obviously, from Colony. But I never went anywhere and had like my grandmother never ate Mexican food. When I got down to Little Havana, I ate Cuban food. It was sensational. I never ate Mexican food until I met my wife. Okay? Never had Mexican food. So my wife's, I met her when she was in Texas. And she's from Texas. And she took me to these Mexican restaurants. And this like chicken fried steak and eggs, Western food and all that. Phenomenal. I never had Mexican food. I never had enchiladas. Nothing like that. Tamales. My wife goes, try these. I'm like, no, I don't want to eat that shit. Nah, I don't want to eat that. I was like, oh my God. Fantastic. So would I try the food in Brazil? Probably. But I would eat it at the restaurant. I don't think I'd venture out. And by the way, I'd probably try it after the game. So if I got sick after the game. I would not eat something like, because we went to Europe and played in Frankfurt one year. And I remember someone said to me, make sure you understand that if you eat something before the game, it could get you sick because there's different regulations in Europe compared to America with the FDA. So I said, shit. So we stayed a day after, so I ate food after. And that's what most of us did. Yeah. Okay. Love how we make a big deal about security issues in Brazil. Like we don't have issues here. Right. Deal. We talk about civil unrest in America all the time. What's the problem talking about civil unrest in Brazil or Venezuela? Why do you have to go around not talking the truth? Hey, new country. I don't know anything about the culture. I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. I hear there's crime down here. What's wrong with that? The NFL wants to make sure, hey, don't say anything big time. Hey, just make sure, All right. The legend, and he is going to be in his prime. Holy cow. We have games out the wazoo. Okay? That's going to be at 5:30 Eastern time. We'll talk about all the NFL and tonight's game and last night's game. College football as well. We will reset Big Sil's NFL predictions for this coming season. We'll do that. We'll reset a little bit of what we saw last night. And you know what I'll do? I'll go back on the preview for tonight's game. And don't forget also our pregame show tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern. Big Sills is on it this year. And the postgame show. Please hit the like button. Where are we on the like button right now? Where are we right now on the likes? You guys, with your super chats and your likes, have been absolutely sensational. Where are we on that? Fat Mac. Hurts is 34-17, 6 fourth quarter comebacks, and 8 game-winning drives. That is with 3 different coordinators. His down year, he still made the Pro Bowl. Fat Mac, yes, 282. Guys, we're 18 away from 300. I'd like to see if we can get it close to 400. Please hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, the super chats have been great. Also, the likes. Please hit that like button. Don't forget, we have a pregame show tonight at 7 p.m. here on JAKIB, then our postgame show. Last night's game, absolutely fantastic. D-Days tonight, obviously, for the Eagles and Packers. 27-20 last night. Say a little bit more about Lamar. Lamar was outstanding at times. 273, 122 on the ground. He played as well as he could, but still missed plays. And I'll say it one more time, as I said in the first hour. There's no question Jalen Hurts is a better passer than Lamar. He is. And there lies the difference in why he's probably going to go a little further than Lamar Jackson. In my opinion, Lamar Jackson can't play from behind. That team can't play from behind. They missed tying the game by inches just to get into a position to tie them. That's how far behind they are. Remember, that wasn't to win it. That was to tie the game, to have an opportunity to win it in overtime. Not a chance in hell he was going to outduel Patrick Mahomes in overtime at Kansas City. Kansas City's defense has improved more over the last 3 years than the Kansas City offense has improved. That just shows you the greatness of Mahomes. Mahomes is getting better as a quarterback. The offense really isn't. Now you add Xavier Worthy to that mix. You hear Andy Reid talking about him last night? Yeah, he's getting better. We'll see. Got to continue to improve. Here's a guy last night that looked like Deshaun Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I mean, 2-time MVP. You know what it reminded me of? You remember the year Karl Malone won the MVP award over Jordan? Remember? You know, he won it over Jordan. You were like, that guy's not better than MJ. He won the MVP award. You're like, I don't care what you say. If I had to pick a basketball player this year, you're going to take Karl Malone over him? I'm not taking Karl Malone over Michael Jordan. It was like they gave him that award or something. And then you're like this. Man, there's a wide open wide receiver in the back of the end zone. He misses. Jalen doesn't miss that throw. Jalen Hurts will not miss that throw. He won't. Lamar Jackson misses that throw. He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Plus, you got to figure out how to use Derrick Henry. It was like they had get this. There's another team that didn't run Henry in the exhibition season, didn't play Lamar, and it was chaotic. Yeah, look at the difference in the teams last night. Yeah, look at the difference in the teams last night that played their guys in preseason and the team that didn't. You didn't know how to use Henry. Lamar was rusty. And Mahomes played like Mahomes, and the defense was better. I don't know about you, but one team looked like they had played a game. One team looked like they didn't. Didn't Jalen come back 17-7 to beat Mahomes? I don't remember what that was a year ago. That's good for Hurts. Doesn't really matter. Des the Hebrew to Mahomes, because at the end of the day, last year, it's a good victory for him. I'm not saying it's not important for Jalen. That's not an important win or loss for Mahomes. Mahomes counts Super Bowls, not wins. He's at a different level now. Jalen and Josh Allen and Lamar and Joe Burrow, they count wins. He counts titles. So it's not really important to him anymore. The amount of wins, not important. He's now in that Brady atmosphere now where it's all about the postseason. I mean, nobody in Kansas City is talking about 12 wins or 11 wins or 14 wins. They're talking about Super Bowl and a three-peat. There lies the difference again between Kansas City and Philly. You're talking about a 14-win season. They're talking about a fourth Super Bowl in 6 years. That's what they're talking about. Get this. African Surf goes, yeah, until he starts losing. I'll just say this to you. If he started losing right now and had a catastrophic injury, he'd go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He'd go to the Hall of Fame right now. He's a Hall of Fame player in 7 years. He's a Hall of Fame player. 7 years of football. He could retire right now and go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, 3 Super Bowl wins, 3 MVPs in the Super Bowl, 4 appearances. Montana. Bradshaw and Brady are the only one with a better Super Bowl resume than Patrick Mahomes right now. Okay? I mean, Seals, how would you explain how Mahomes lost to the Broncos last season and the Raiders? Underdeveloped wide receiving core. They had to get on the same page. They were playing like an 8-win team last year at the first part of the season. They were playing like a 14-win team when they got to December. Once again, they didn't care about how they looked. Remember, they didn't have home field. Baltimore did. It doesn't matter anymore. He could play on Mars and beat you. He separated himself so far from the number 2 guy in the league. Look here. To put it in perspective, the Eagles have to spend $200 million on an offense. And Kansas City spends nothing on offense. And he beats you. He beats everyone. They had to go get Derrick Henry. Who was the most significant sign in Kansas City this last year? Matt Araiza? Yale goes, who's the number 2? I think it's a collection of guys. Yeah, I'll make this point and last point about last night and the performance of Mahomes. I'll say this to you. The distance, once again, last night was on display between the top guy and the number 2 guy. There's a wider gap in his era between who the top guy is and the second guy is. And there's a smaller gap between 2, 3, 4, and 5 than there was when Brady played. mean, you could go Manning and Brady, and you're kind of going to, throw some other guys in there. But it's Mahomes in a gap. Because you know why? Financially, you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't even have to buy receivers in Kansas City. Isn't that crazy? You have a collection of nobodies. That's what makes it insane. And they're doing all their – and Brett Veach and the job that they're doing in player development, they build their team through the draft. They don't miss. They draft, develop their team through the draft. Every one of those guys are developed through the draft. Their O-line, their defense. Every guy's a draft pick. I mean, let's see here. Mahomes can't play against a stronger defense that match their offense. Andy Reid crumbles under stress. Where do you see that? When has that happened in the last 6 years? They've gone to 5 consecutive AFC championships. They've won 4 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. Where's the crumbling? What are you talking about? Abe, I like your takes, dude, but how is crumbling in the last 6 years? You won 3 Super Bowls and you've been to 4. That's crumbling? I mean, they did a horrible job last night at preparing the Ravens. That's John Harbaugh, too. Okay? Get this. Swansky goes like this. There's no facts? No facts, all opinions? They built their team through the draft. Claude Humphrey's a draft pick. Mahomes, Worthy. Their defense. Eagles don't have that success. Best center in the NFL right now is in Kansas City. They drafted him. Pacheco's a draft pick. I mean, the entire defense is draft choices. You don't draft like Kansas City. I told you to take Trent McDuffie. You hated him. Now he's a superstar. Here's how I got to tonight's game. We're going to talk here. Okay. Let's see here. Mahomes lost against the Broncos defense with Surtain, Raiders and Crosby and Wilkins, and their new head coach Pierce. Having Vic as our DC could develop. Abe, all of that is irrelevant when you put the Lombardi in the air. That was all on the journey of developing the Kansas City Chiefs a year ago. They weren't very good early in the year a year ago. They picked it up and won a Super Bowl. You're picking small microcosms out of the overall picture. Okay, so they lost a couple battles on the way. They won the war. This is about winning the war, not the small battles. Like tonight. Here's a great example of what we're talking about tonight. I think the Eagles are going to have a bumpy start tonight because of all the indecisions and new things you have to have implemented tonight. I disagree with Xander on this one in that thing's going to be a seamless transition when you've not had any games whatsoever, and all of a sudden you're going to flip a switch and all of that's going to work. No fucking way. No way is that working like that. I disagree. New center, a quarterback who's never set protections, has never identified pressure in an NFL game, has not done it he has not even played a game yet with Kellen Moore's offense. And you're sitting here telling me that Kellen Moore is going to have an impact on him? I'll tell you right now, it may, but I haven't seen it ever. I've never seen him set a protection. I've never seen him identify pressure. I've never seen him be a good reader of defenses. Now you got a new center and a new guard who doesn't even play right guard, playing guard out of position. All of that is new. That's on your offense. And where was the one? Listen, I would feel better if you had more issues at right tackle than at right guard and center. You're saying, Sills, you think we have an issue at guard and center? Yeah, because it's new. Is Cam good? Yeah. That's not good enough. Is he going to be able to identify? Has Cam, let's do this. Let's ask a fair question here before I get into, again, a little bit of the preview here. Has Cam Jurgens, yeah, we'll do you. Has Cam Jurgens ever set a protection in his NFL career? In a football game? No. Has Jalen? No. Has Jalen ever identified pressure? No. Has Jalen ever read defenses? No. Now you got a new right guard too. Is a tush push going to work? Okay. Swansky goes, yeah, in preseason, which you can claim is so important. Well, once again, I'll put Swansky up here. Well, I saw one team last night that played preseason football and looked like it, and I saw another one who didn't and played like it. Is that a fair take? Guys, how many people looked at Kansas City last night looking like they had played a game and looked at Baltimore? They didn't even know how to use Derrick Henry. They didn't even know how to use Henry. They had blown coverages, Baltimore. All of that looked like they hadn't played. Sills, have you ever heard of blitz pickup? Well, he was one of the worst in the NFL last year. Sills, you're crazy because you swear 2023 season is who the Eagles really are. Marcus, until proven otherwise, you are. The rest of it is just hyperbole, guesswork. You are what you are. You're only as good as the last game you played, not the game you played in your mind, Marcus. Marcus, you're playing a fantasy game. I'm telling you what you've done. Until you change that narrative, which is tonight, you get a chance to change that narrative tonight. And you may. But until further notice, you don't get the benefit. Not from me. Oh, well, don't worry about it. You know, no one's ever really explained why the whole thing melted down like that, really. Why the quarterback didn't play well. It's just kind of like we're all forgetting it. Okay, you're just like, let's just move on. I don't blame you. I'd want to move on too. Big Sills, I really believe not playing preseason is going to hurt us at the start of the season. Well, here, 5-star. Let's just hypothetically do this. You've never had guys do roles that they're being asked to do tonight. And there's multiple tasks you're doing. You're not asking somebody to do one thing. You're asking people to do multiple things that they've never done. How many times in your lives have you put new tasks at hand? Have they all gone smooth? Especially when they're multiple tasks and you're multitasking. Jalen's got a multitask tonight. Got a 25-second clock. Hey, by the way, the communication of getting to play in. I thought last year they had problems getting the plays in. Didn't you? How's that communication going to be? How would you know? They haven't had a chance to do it in a game. Getting to play in. Get to the line of scrimmage. Pre-snap reads. Where's the pressure coming? What's the protection I'm going to set? You know what Jeff Hatley's going to do? We're going to talk about it here. he's going to have multiple fronts and moving around people. Is that going to confuse him? Don't be shocked tonight if you see some breakdowns. Look at Baltimore. They broke down last night. Coverages. Baltimore won 14 games last year. It's part of evolving. Agreed. You don't evolve in 4 quarters. You evolve over a season. Absolutely. And a year ago, again, heading into this, okay? Get Godfather on. I need to play some bets. I feel like if Saquon gets 10 touches, I think that number, Black Ninja, has to be a little higher. I'd like to see, man, I tell you what, I'll make one more prediction to you here. If Barkley gets 20 carries, they win. Okay? They get 20 carries, they win. They win the game. They win that game. I think it's low scoring, Eagle fan. Here, let me give you my take on it here before we get to Philly Godfather on. By the way, he's coming on at 5:30 here in a couple minutes here. Please hit the like button. This is a completely different, complete facelift for the Eagle offense going into this game tonight. It's going to be interesting to see if they have a smooth, as Kellen Moore likes to say, operation tonight. Hurts, his quarterback rating against the blitz in 2023 was 75.2. Okay. So at the end of the day, not very good. Jeff Hadley is going to bring pressure. He's an aggressive guy, and he's going to bring pressure. Green Bay is a pressure team, and they're going to bring pressure tonight. Vic Fangio's scheme will be tested. It clearly will be tested tonight. And when it came to the Eagles' pass defense, obviously everyone knows they were 31st. Have they fixed all this? Putting Keely Ringo out there on the numbers, and I am in agreement that I think even though you lose Isaiah Rodgers out there, you lose some depth and you lose bodies. You're kind of thin going into this game in your secondary. You don't have Bradbury, and you don't have Keely Ringo. And some would go, Bradbury? Well, he's on your team. You were going to play him. So you got to talk about the people that were on your team. You may not think they're good, but this isn't a college football team. This is a 53-man roster. Okay? Man, what a weekend. What a weekend. And this is the time when the Godfather is more needed than ever before, because you got a big game. You had a game last night. First, we'll talk about that game with him, and then we'll turn around and we'll talk about tonight's game, and then we'll go into some of the weekend games, college games as well. He is our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather. He joins us now. Big week, brother.
Can you hear me, Dan? All right?
I got you, brother.
What a game last night. Insane. I had so much money on the Chiefs minus 2.5. I had big money on the Ravens and the teaser with the under. It looked good all night, and then at the last second, I almost lost both wagers, but somehow we found a way to cash. Great way to start the NFL season.
Hey, what did you take away from both teams last night with Kansas City and Baltimore? I mean, Baltimore's still going to be in the mix, in your opinion? I think Baltimore could have beaten so many football teams last night, but again, there's the Chiefs at home. Mahomes is insane. I mean, the outlook for both teams, in your opinion?
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, the Ravens actually beat themselves. At halftime, they had the edge in the box score. They made some brain cramps, some mistakes. Lamar Jackson misses a guy wide open in the end zone, and then he completes the pass, which looked like a touchdown, but wasn't. So they had their chances to win that game in Kansas City, and that's never easy. So both teams are going to be, one of the elite teams in the football in the NFL this season.
Okay, I've waited all week for this with you. Here we go. NFL weekend. Arizona, Buffalo, 6.5. I've got 30-20. 48's the number. How do you see that game?
The whole world's betting Buffalo. I like Arizona +7. I took a +7. I think they're going to be a much improved team. I think they got a shot at making the playoffs, surprising a lot of people this year. Kyler Murray a few years back was a playoff quarterback. Now he added some weapons. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's ready to go. I like their coach. They came in and beat Philly last year. They beat the Cowboys last year. This is an Arizona team that's going to surprise a lot of people. And if you're giving me a touchdown first week of the season, I'll take the Cardinals +7.
Carolina at New Orleans. I think the number's 4 and the overall number's 42. What do you see in this one?
I ain't laying 4 points with this Saints team. Give me that badass Panthers team plus the 4 points. I mean, it's a coin flip. You're betting again. You're betting 2 bad teams. Give me the 4 points, man. Give me the dog here.
This is a pretty good game under the radar here. Houston at Indianapolis, and the number's +3 on this here, and it's 41. So obviously, people think low-scoring ball game in this game. How do you see this thing?
Yeah, this game's going to set the tone for both teams. Divisional game. Colts at home. Richardson's back. He's healthy. Love their coach. You're giving me 3 points. The right side is the Colts +3. I haven't bet it yet. But if the Texans go in there and outperform the market and cover the spread, the AFC better take notice. Watch out. This team's going to be very dangerous. But I think the Colts +3 is the right side.
By the way, tonight, Packers and hear me out. Here's me. Packers and Eagles. I have the Packers winning this game 27-24, and I'm taking the Packers in this game tonight and the points.
I mean, I just want to tell everyone I'm really bullish on this Eagles team. I took them to win the NFC East +120, +115. I took them at even money as well. I expect big things this season from Sirianni's team, but this is really, to me, a tough spot for them in Brazil. I hate to say it, but the Packers have the better coach. If you look at LaFleur's Packers teams, they've been underdog 32 times. He's covered 22 of those 32 games by an average of 4 points a game. And in the first 3 weeks of the regular season, he's 13-2 against the spread. I mean, I think the Packers got the better coach. And we all got to be honest. I mean, Sirianni, what is he? He's a water boy. He's a yes man that just calls timeouts. While LaFleur's he's a real coach. Then we move to the quarterbacks. I hate to say it because I really do like Jalen Hurts a ton, and he's refocused this season. And I think he's on a mission to prove that last season was a fluke. But I think Jordan Love is better, especially from a betting perspective. In his career, Jalen Hurts is just 6-14-1 against the spread as a favorite away from home. And in the last 20 years, he's the 4th least profitable quarterback as a favorite away from home. So anytime he plays away from home, you got to bet against him. You got to fade him. His splits at home, he's a great quarterback. He's 17-9 against the spread. But when he's on the road or in a neutral site, just 10-18-1 against the spread. And that's the worst record of 104 quarterbacks since 2020. So give me a team with a better coach. Give me a team with a better quarterback. I took the Packers +3 here. I think they're going to have a big season this year.
Holy shit, Jalen Hurts loses you money if he goes on the road. Whoa, man, that's a great stat there, man. Way to go. All right. Jacksonville at Miami, 3.5. The number's 49. This will be an interesting ball game, too. Hot and humid in South Florida, but then again, it's the Jags, so they're there, too, from Florida. But how do you see this thing playing out?
Yeah, back in the summer, this line was high as Dolphins -4. It's been bouncing around anywhere from 3.5 to 3. There was some sharp money that took Miami at -3, but that's a key number. And it's kind of hard to argue with that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's had a hard time getting the money on the road. He's just 11-14 against the spread. While Tua, if you bet him at home, he's 18-8 against the Vegas number. So, you know, when you're betting Tua at home, you usually win some money. But I just don't like the fact that all the early public money is on Miami here. Over 65% of the action is on the Dolphins. And even though Trevor Lawrence scares me a little bit in this spot, he tends to make more mistakes away from home, throwing 24 interceptions in the last 3 seasons compared to just 11 at home. I think the Jags, I think their defense got a lot better. I think it can keep them in their game. They got a new defensive coordinator. He did wonders with Atlanta. And I kind of like the Jags plus 3.5, man. It's all about the price. And I think that defense, on that Jacksonville team got a lot better. And I'm hoping Trevor Lawrence doesn't turn the ball over with some brain cramps. But I like the Jags here plus 3.5.
Minnesota at the New York Giants, 1.5. 41 is the number. This looks like a kind of tricky ball game here, and it's in the Meadowlands. What do you look at this game?
Yeah, there's so much uncertainty surrounding both teams. Now, obviously, I think the Giants have the better coach, and I actually think Danny Dimes is a better quarterback here, but I'm not looking to bet this game, Dan. I'm not looking to invest money. Gun to my head, if I had to pick a side, I might take the Giants plus the 1.5.
Absolutely there, man. I mean, like you said, too much uncertainty when it comes to this right here. So let's go here. New England at Cincinnati. Now, there's a rumor going around that T. Higgins may not play in this ball game. How much does that affect, you think, this game here? It's in Cincinnati. New England has very little offense and very little personnel. But does that affect this game at all? And I think the number is 8.5.
Well,
so how do you look at this game here?
Yeah, it dropped down to 7.5. And there's a lot of, the Bengals tend to start off slow. And I love Joe Burrow. I took the Bengals this year at 14-1 to win it all, along with the Detroit Lions at 13-1. I think they're the 2 teams that are going to end up in the Super Bowl. But if you want to make some money, this is how I bet this game. The Patriots really they got a pretty good defense, but offensively projected to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. I took the Bengals on a teased them down to -1, 1.5, and I took the Jets at plus 11.5. So you combine the 2 teams, and I think you can cash a ticket that way in this game. I think it's a better way to bet it.
Pittsburgh at Atlanta. I like Atlanta this year. Russell Wilson, we'll see what he ends up doing, but that number is 3. It's 42. I like Atlanta in this one. What says you?
I didn't bet it yet, but I think Russell Wilson's out. I think Justin Fields is going to start.
Okay. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I was just watching it now. Now, it's not, it's not 100%, but if Justin Fields starts, I like his legs here. I haven't bet the game yet, but if I do, I'll release it on Twitter for you guys.
Got it. Tennessee at Chicago, the opening game at Chicago for Caleb Williams. Can I tell you something, too? Of all the teams, I don't know anything about Tennessee. I have no idea who they are. That's got to be a pretty tough team to do some research on because you talk about unknown. I don't know what's up, what they have. From what I'm hearing is DeAndre Hopkins is going to play, but this team is a complete mystery here.
Yeah, defensive backfield is real strong. Their offensive line projected to be the worst in their division. Their defensive line projected to be the worst in their division. If you could have grabbed the early number at 4, rookie quarterbacks don't fare well in their first start against the spread. But this is a different kind of kid. Caleb Williams, I wasn't sold on him early, but the more I watched on him, the more I'm starting to get impressed. This Bears offense is stacked. I think they secured their offensive line. Their defense is pretty good. If the line gets down to 3, I might look to nibble a little bit on the Bears at -3. But as of right now, it's a no bet for me.
Denver at Seattle. I like Seattle big in this, but there's a big number of 6 or whatever it's changed. But in your opinion, I like Seattle in this game. But is that number too big for you to land on Seattle, and do you go Denver in this?
I didn't bet the game yet, but that is a big number for the first week of the season, man. There's so much uncertainty surrounding all these teams. A lot of these point spreads are really short this year, and it's one of the tougher first weeks of the season I've seen in the last decade. So if you're looking to go crazy, don't do it. Pump your brakes. Sit back, watch these teams, and if you're looking to bet a little bit bigger, look for week 2. But week 1, I would suggest you pump your brakes, just bet small. I didn't bet the game yet. I don't want to give it out to you guys if I haven't bet it yet, so it's a no bet for me either.
The Raiders and the Chargers, it's a 3 number, and they got 40.5, 40 and a half is the number. Boy, they must not think that the Raiders are going to score a lot of points. I'm not sure they think that the Chargers are, because the number's only 3 here. How do you see this game, and why such a low number overall, less than 41, and you're talking 3 points here? So what's up in this ball game, especially with Justin Herbert?
Yeah, the Chargers team was overhauled. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh comes in. You got the better quarterback. You got the better coach. I don't know what to expect from this Raiders team, but their defense is supposed to be really good. If anything, I would look to bet the under here. I haven't bet the side yet, but I think the under is the move in this game.
Washington at Tampa Bay, 3.5, 43.5 points. It's at Raymond James. I like Washington to be a surprise ball team this year. What says you?
I agree with you. Anything over a field goal, if you can grab 3.5 on the Commanders, I would take it. If you want to get, a little ballsy, take them on the money line and cash both tickets.
The Rams in Detroit. How about this one? 3.5, 51 points is the number. So they're obviously looking for a big time. I mean, of all the games, I think that's the biggest overall number at 51. Then you're looking at 3.5. So they're thinking that this thing's going to be a shootout in Motown.
Yeah, it's actually up to as high as 4.5 out here in Vegas at the Circa. I see 4.5 at the Circa, 4.5 at the Super Bowl, and the total's up to 52.5. So they're expecting a shootout here. Arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFC playing in this game, and you might see both these teams in the NFC Championship game at the end of the year. Again, I took the Rams here in the teaser. Give me the 11.5 points with the Bengals down to 1. I'm not looking to lay 4.5 on Detroit here. If the line gets any higher, which I don't think it is, but if it does, I'll probably be looking to take the dog here plus the points.
I'm going to tell you, I'm taking the upset with the Jets on Monday night. I'm taking the Jets 29-27. The number's 43. 4 points here. I got the Jets in an upset. For some reason, I think San Francisco starts slow. They're notorious for starting slow. I got the Jets in an upset Monday night.
Yeah, San Francisco Super Bowl hangover. Historically, these teams come out in the first game of the following season and don't perform well, and they're really bad against the numbers. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think the Jets can cover that number. Do they win the game? I'm not looking to take them on the money line, but give me the 4.5 points with the Jets. I also tied them into a teaser as well, plus 11.5, and I think that's the safer way to bet it.
Let me take you to some college games here. Big House, Longhorns versus the Michigan Wolverines. What do you got?
I gave this game out in May, and I think I released it on your show. Texas -3 was one of my bigger bets of the season, and now it's up to 7.5. So we got 4.5 points of closing line value already. At 7.5, though, I might look to come back a little bit with Michigan. Still got one of the better defenses in college football. You got over 100,000, fans at Ann Arbor. But the right side was Texas -3, but now that number has ballooned out to 7.5. I can't bet the game where it's at. Lay 7 on Texas. It's just too high. If anything, if you're going to bet it now, I might look to take Michigan plus 7.5, but I'm all over Texas -3. It's one of my bigger wagers, of the season so far. They got a quarterback. There's only a few quarterbacks ahead of them with better odds to win the Heisman. Their season win total was set at 10.5. Michigan's was set at 9. Michigan has a new coach, new quarterback, and I think they're going to have a hard time against Ohio State and Penn State this season. So I'm looking for Michigan to regress a little bit, but that's a big price, 7.5. If you're going to bet it now, Michigan's probably the right side, but the right bet was Texas -3 back early in the early summer.
I traditionally don't do this, but to me, this Nebraska-Colorado game, which will have a lot of eyeballs on it, on Saturday, I say this, that Colorado has the 2 best players that'll be on the field in Travis Hunter and also Shedeur Sanders, but I think Nebraska's the better team. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that thing is in Lincoln. So for me, I've got Nebraska winning this football game by 2 touchdowns. Am I off?
I mean, what did we lay on Nebraska last week? We laid like 4 touchdowns on that team, and they still covered the game. So, yeah, I think you're on the right side here. I think they're just the roster's better, even though Colorado has some big playmakers on that team. I think you're on the right side.
Yeah, I just, I look at that team and I'm like, I think it's all flash when I'm talking Colorado, because I really like what Matt Rule's doing there at Lincoln. I mean, he's building a roster. They're getting better through recruiting, and he's had the #1 transfer portal team the last 2 seasons. So, I think Nebraska's in it. How about that Tennessee game, Tennessee-NC State? You like what I saw Tennessee last week? I really liked what I saw in them, especially that quarterback. I think Tennessee's going to make some noise in the Southeastern Conference. How much, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't bet the game yet. There weren't a lot of games on the college football board that really intrigued me, other than that big wager I had on Texas. I like South Florida a little bit, plus 31 against Alabama. I know they only won 1 game last season, but they lost 3 games to top 25 teams by like 1 score or less. And I think 31 points is just way too high. I know Alabama blew out Western Kentucky. What was it, 63-0? But 31 points might be a little too much here. So I like the dog in that game versus Alabama.
Finally, who has a bigger game tonight, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts?
I think Jordan Love. I think he's going to have you look at the wide receivers on that Green Bay Packers team. There's 5-6 guys that can spread the ball around anytime he wants. Where if you key in on the Eagles, you take one guy away, it makes it a little more difficult for Jalen Hurts. But I think they're going to score a ton of points in that game. If you guys want some props, I took Josh Jacobs to score anytime touchdown, Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, and Watson anytime touchdown as well.
Would you think that Jacobs outrushes Barkley tonight?
I'd have to research more. I haven't bet it yet, but off the top of my head, I would say no.
What do you see as a score tonight?
I'm hoping it goes over 48.5. I took a small wager on the over. It's up to 50 now. It's probably going to keep rising. It's probably going to be like a 27-24 game. Packers win the game outright.
That's what I'm saying, man. I got this thing. I'm with you, brother. Hey, man, you're Mr. Vegas now, huh? So you're going to go see Emerald later on after you win all your money? Is that what we're doing?
Well, after last night, I almost had a heart attack. We won a bunch of cash, but yeah, I'm a simple guy, Dan. I'm simple, slow and steady. Married 36 years. I got my son out here with me. Those million days are over. But if nobody's looking, I might try and sneak something in real quick.
Hey, that's me too. I'm a simple guy. Yeah, right. Hey, tell the folks where they can find you, my good friend.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. Stop by my website, thepphillygodfather.com, and every Friday on the greatest show on the planet, right here with Dan Sileo.
Hey, yeah, get this, man. Jason Kelsey had a problem with me this week for being too mean on Jalen Hurts. And, those guys need to worry about winning a ball game tonight. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what we're saying here.
Yeah, and I got the green on today, so people will ask me, was I cheering for the Packers or the Eagles? I'm telling them, I'm cheering for money green. I could care less, man. I just care about my money, boys.
Hey, catch you next week, man. Keep winning, my friend. Thank you, brother.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. That is the Philly Godfather, man. I love that segment now. Now we're into the football season. Now you're starting to be able to make some dough. Live from a casino, too. That's how you do it, man. Just like that. All right. Where are we on the like list right now? Love to see where we are in that number. You guys have been sensational. By the way, Sean, thank you for becoming a new member. Don't forget tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, we will do our pregame show tonight. So we're looking forward to that. Where are we on the like list tonight? We're looking forward to you guys joining us tonight too as well. It's going to be one banging night. 314. Fantastic, guys. Let's see if we can round this thing up and send this thing into the weekend and into the pregame show tonight. Hit that like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, we got this. Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Excel's National Football Show. You guys have killed it today, man. I can't thank you enough. Don't forget, 7 p.m. will be the JAKIB pregame show, the legendary JAKIB pregame show that we will be on, and we will be doing that, and we're looking forward to having you guys. And then postgame, what happens tonight? We will find out. Hey, by the way, rent's due, man. I told you. I have tonight, I've got 27-24 Packers tonight. Straight up win. And I believe the Eagles are favored by 3.5. So I got them in an out-and-out win. But even with the number, I got the Packers winning this game tonight. You know, just to go over a little bit what we went over with Godfather here. This Arizona-Buffalo, I got 30-20 Buffalo. I don't do the spreads when I pick these games. Carolina, New Orleans, I got the Saints winning it 27-18. Houston and Indy, that's going to be a great football game. I got 24-21 Houston in this ball game. Jacksonville at Miami, I got the Fins winning 26-21. I got Tua actually having a pretty big ball game in this game here. Minnesota and the Giants, believe it or not, I got the Giants winning a close one, 23-20. New England at Cincinnati, even with the T. Higgins news, I'm taking Cincinnati 31-17. Joe Burrow, I think is going to be too much for New England. New England's in a rebuild. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. I didn't know that Russell Wilson might not be going in this game. I got Kirk Cousins in this game big time. 30-21. They beat the Atlanta Falcons. Tennessee at Chicago. I got the Chicago Bears winning 28-21. I think Caleb Williams gets out to a great start. Looking forward to that. Denver at Seattle. I got Seattle in a 10-point win. And Sean Payton, once again, there's no difference. How many people think Sean Payton is a better coach than Mike McCarthy? How many people believe that he's a better coach, Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy? How many people believe that? Jason does. Okay? Jason says, but not by much. Barb's not a fan. Neither am I. I think he's overhyped and overrated. Sean says he is. Would it shock you if Tony Push? Would it shock you if they had the same record and the same postseason record? Would it shock you? We got the same. I mean, one guy's won a Super Bowl. One guy's won a Super Bowl. They got the same record. I mean, Des goes like this. Who's a better coach, Sean Payton or Mike McCarthy? Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton have the same, almost identical record. Okay? I think he's overhyped too. Las Vegas Raiders against the Chargers. I got the Chargers winning 26-21. I got Cleveland winning 26-20 over Dallas. Sorry, guys. I think Dallas is going to lose this ball game. That's Brady's first game on Fox, too, by the way. Washington at Tampa. I got Washington winning. James Jones, you in here? I got Washington winning this ball game. 27-21 in Tampa. I got them winning this game. And I think Jaden Daniels gets out to a great start. Rams at Detroit. I got the Rams. Even though I got Detroit winning the Super Bowl, I think the Rams go into this ball game tonight or this weekend. And I think they win it 31-28. And I think they win that ball game. Still, Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 16. How's that, man? Think about Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game. And hey, Forrest, am I right when I say this? Is Mike Tomlin 8-10 in the postseason as an NFL head coach? And hey, I know he's got a Super Bowl win, right? Forrest, is he 8-10? Thank you for the super chats, guys. You guys have been great. The deciding factor in this game tonight is time of possession. I think turnovers too. It will show how dominant the O-line is. That's, hey, Big B, that's if they utilize it tonight. That's if they utilize it. And I've got the Jets in an upset, 29-27 against the 49ers on Monday night. Here's what I'll say to you tonight for the Eagles to win. If the Eagles run Barkley 25 times tonight, they'll win. No turnovers. They'll win. They'll keep Love on the sidelines. That's the key to this. Keep Love on the sidelines. You got to keep him on the sidelines tonight for that thing to work. But if you get into a issue tonight, like Baltimore did last night, 47 or what was it, 41 passes last night for Lamar Jackson, he's not going to win that game doing that. Hurts, in my opinion, 35 passes between all the backs. You have something like 28 carries, something like that between Gainwell, Shipley, and Barkley. You're going to take care of Green Bay, and you're going to nullify the blitz. Okay? And you're going to nullify the blitz if you do that. Okay? Ready for Concrete Dean. Sills, Ohio State edge rushers. Both of them are excellent. Both of them are really good ball players. So I got 27-24, baby. Hey, LJ, 27-24. Packers win this bad puppy. Sills, Hurts is smarter than Lamar, though. It's not fair. I'm not going there. Hey, I hope Bryce Huff shows up tonight. That's a good call. We haven't, hey, again, once again, not bringing that guy's name up. It's not a good thing. 15 to 20 carries for Barkley. Control the clock, especially more so in the fourth quarter for sure. All right, guys, give me your scores tonight. I want to see them. 26-24. Who? Huff 3 sacks. Give me a score. I want to hear your scores. 27-24 Green Bay. 31-17 Eagles. 45-10 who? 28-24 Eagles. 31-20 Eagles. 31-24 Eagles. 24-21 Eagles. Jesus. So okay. Look at this. 28-0. There you go. That's what I want to see. I'm with Philly. 500. 31-28 Birds. We got a last drive turnover to stop it and seal the deal. 38-35 Packers. There goes Kyle. There we go. 29-24 Packers. Think we lose, but we bounce back versus Atlanta. I believe that's on Monday night. 35-3 Birds. 29-23 Birds. Lots of field goals. Okay. This is going to be good. 24-13 Birds. You think your defense is holding Jordan Love to 13 points? Really? You surrendered 26 points plus a game. But now all of a sudden, you're going to hold a team to 13 points. Okay. Okay. Hey, don't forget tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time, we will have our pregame show. Then immediately following the game, we will have our postgame show, the legendary JAKIB postgame show. So we expect to see you guys there. Can't wait to see how this thing plays out. John McMullen, Xander, and myself, the big three, will be there for you. So we look forward to it tonight. What a night tonight. If they play anything like they did yesterday and last night, it's going to be a great football game tonight. And I'm expecting a great football game. Guys, I appreciate you. Have a great football weekend. Great stuff on Saturday. Obviously, the NFL is tonight, on Sunday, and on Monday. Don't forget, BetUS. We're powered all 4 hours by BetUS. We appreciate them so much. Thank you, guys. Please hit the like button. 2 to 6 on Monday. Going to be a gigantic show on Monday as well. Angelo Cataldi will join us. Remember, Angelo might have to eat some crow too on Monday. He may have to. We shall see. Rent is due tonight. Thank you guys so much. Joe, Xander, we appreciate it. And we shall see you on the flip side.